This is Shooting the Shit with Baldy, and I'm here with Shipley.
What up, dude?
Mr. Shipley Productions.
Once again, trapped in this hell, a place my mind knows all too well. Screaming to understand it and why people change and lose their self in mind. All the promises broken again. Trying to understand any of this. How could you just fall from yourself and lose everything that we built? It's killing me to watch you locked in a prison of your desire, and the walls are closing in. When was that you lost your mind? Your blood drains from your face. The pale white's the only trace. Now you have an understanding, and you know I was never pretending.
So basically, I've been gone for the last 3 years. I took some time off because I needed to get my shit straight. But I've had a lot of friends, and one is sitting with me today, and he's helped me get my shit together and get it back out there again. So welcome to the first episode of Baldy 2.0, so to speak, of Shooting the Shit with Baldy. I am here with Robert Shipley, aka Mr. Shipley. How you doing, brother?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm great.
The clown that everybody keeps talking about. I never thought this day would happen.
I'm glad to have you here.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. It's
Cheers.
an honor.
So what do you think? What have you been doing? What are you up to?
Like you lost somebody in your life. I lost somebody about 3 years ago. I was gone for a while, and I kind of reappeared, and then I met some musicians in my local scene that were like highly important, and they were very influential to pushing me back, and I played some shows, and it all kind of went crazy from that moment on. And so this moment happening now is kind of because of all that. So, you know, it's something that's told to me that will never happen. It's happening, so honored.
Yeah, during that time frame, I think that you were told it would never happen. I think we both had a lot of clowns, so to speak, in our ear. Not the kind of clown you were, but some clowns in our ear that were pretty much like broadcasting a anti-scene kind of message at the time. It was pretty much all, well, we don't want rap and metal, and rap has always been metal.
It was also
You can go back to a lot of mainstreams, and we won't name names. You can go back to a lot of mainstreams, going all the way back to classic rock type bands. I'm sure we all know what I'm talking about. But rap's been around in rock a long time, and metal with rap that's a late 90s gimmick that a lot of people try to push and try to cash in on, but we're talking local scene here, so I feel as though I was kind of shunned away from what you do.
Yeah.
And I didn't know, I mean, we talked recently, but I didn't know your background.
Yeah. I have a very metal influence background, all the way back to like 618 bands, that were in the SIMC in different places, and I couldn't unfortunately get into those areas, but some of those people are active with me in music today, in my form of music that I'm doing now. But yes, I didn't realize even to this point that there were more scenes that I didn't know about, like even the rap scene, I didn't know it existed when I was in the metal scene. Right. So I can understand it, and being 30 minutes away, it's crazy that 15 people later we meet each other.
Right.
Plus, there was people tied to that were influential. Like people that were from that scene that I stayed in contact with, or people that I gained from being at those scenes or being at those shows, and people that were even influential to meeting Toot, which inspired me to do what I do in a lot of ways in hip hop. He was influential to bridging that gap too, back to that. And now it's really crazy because there are so many scenes right now that they don't know about each other, and I'm just like,
there's you've got bands that are playing, the members of bands, that are playing in bands that don't have discretion, and then you have band members that are playing in bands that are of that same band playing in bands that are Christian styled at this point.
It was even a battle with cover bands.
Yeah,
because cover bands,
there's always been a battle between the local scene and the cover bands, because it always felt like cover bands make money based off covers, where our scene, these same members, and it's no disrespect whatsoever.
No.
It's so much easier to play a cover song and get paid for it. Granted, it takes a lot of talent. I'm not saying that's the easy part. What I'm saying is it's easier to get paid.
Anybody playing,
you can get booked.
Anybody playing on stage takes talent. It takes some balls to get up there in front of anybody. But
I was stage front the first time I ever got on stage. I stayed in the back. I was in a band called Triplet String Band, and we played jazz fusion, and I didn't have a fucking clue what jazz fusion was. And I literally stood back by the percussion drummers, and they were all hand drummers, Jim Bays and all that shit. And I stood back in the back with my hat pulled down, Dallas Cowboys hat pulled down, and I'm like, I'm not here. I'm just here. I'm just playing this.
I guess I've always been confused because even when I was raised, I was around a lot of musicians that were different styles, and we all played music together. We would sit in rooms with acoustic guitars and play, and it didn't matter if you liked Bob Marley or that. Or whatever. So even when I got into metal, I still had that in my mind. Like, one of the first shows I ever did when I was in metal was with a rapper named ADK, who actually makes beats now.
Right.
And I brought him in a metal show, and all these people just looked at us like we were weird. And I'm like, I wanted everything, If you listen to certain major bands, they have 2 or 3 styles going on in now. So for me, I was always open on that, but not everybody else was always so open about that.
Myself included, when I first knew of you. When Metal in the Mountains 1 flew, there was no talk whatsoever about bringing in a rapper. There wasn't even the idea, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this was 2010, so with Metal in the Mountains 1, it didn't fly there, but Metal in the Mountains 2, I had heard about you finally. This was like 2011, coming up into August. I think it was around March or April.
That was probably the same time frame that people were like, no, that's never gonna happen. They're not gonna let
there was
that.
A lot of, you can't put that in there, man. It's metal. It's metal in the mountains. So why would we bring anything like that in? And I ran with it, you know what I mean? I was like, okay,
I get that. I was hardcore.
I get the headache, whatever, whatnot. But it seemed to, from that time frame, it seemed to literally grow in the back of my head, hearing Shipley for about 5 years, and then literally for about 5 years, and then I when I did Metal in the Mountains 4, which was a 2-night show at the Granada Theater here in Mount Vernon, I was told to bring you in, and it was by Scoop and a few other people. I remember several conversations over a good 3-month period, and I was told to bring you in as a MC for the night, literally let you run in between all the bands, and it wasn't like let you talk like what happened at Mountain Mayhem this year. you were bringing bands, you were giving standpoints, you were giving strong points. Hey, don't forget to fucking tip your bartender. You know the role in between songs, being an MC and shit. But what they were talking about was having you literally DJ the whole thing. And there were certain people, I'm not going to name names on here because I know I'm not editing, so I'm not going to go out there and blast
I had some
people.
people. I had some people in my ear too. So
Yeah, it got to the point where it was like, no, if you do that, I'm not playing it. It literally got broadcasted to me. If you do that, I'm not playing it. So there was still some stigma attached to the decision that I had to make. And there's a lot of that going on. Well, not a lot of that. There's a few particular instances that me and you both know about where there's certain band members or ex-band members that just cannot function around one another because of their own past, and that's their fucking fault. They should not broadcast that way. You should suck up your fucking pride. Go and tell that motherfucker, hey, my bad, stupid on me. Let's get over it and let's fucking unite. That goes along with the unity, not separation that's going on currently, which is, I think, fueling my fire for doing what I do, which is very little. What I do is very little. I literally hang out here and I watch you guys on Facebook, I watch you guys on Instagram, and I like and I share, and you got a show coming up and I rebroadcast on the Sim page. That's all I do. It's very simple for doing what I do, and I get so much love for what I've done in the last year, not prior. Prior, I pissed off even my own band, Spirit of Chaos, no joke. And sorry guys, but I'm going to go there. I'm not going to name names as far as who said what, but I am going to go there. They used to think that I cared more about the Sim than I did their own band, my own help in creation. I mean, for the love of fuck, I've got the logo tatted on my right arm and left arm.
I've seen.
You see what I'm saying? So I've dealt with the backlash as well. I understand where you're coming from on that end of the whole spectrum. I got to quit covering my mouth because, recording. But
No, I get that. I had people in the same perspective on the same thing say no. Even people that I knew personally that were cool with me were like, no, that's not ever going to happen. Even today, I have people, even after I did a certain
do you
show.
still get backlash?
Yes, I still have flack. Like even the interview I did with Scoot, people were pissed off. Why are you interviewing a rapper that had never seen me? The difference is, if you see me, you see that I'm a completely different thing. Where I come from.
The reason I come to see you is because I found out, and I think it was, I want to say it was R.C. Hunt, Wrench, that told me your background. Literally, I recall having a conversation with him prior to the Foss show at J&J's. You're fucking Heron.
Amazing.
Yeah, that was a fun show. I hadn't gotten that tanked with band members since I was in a band, so it's been about 3 years. But
I met a lot of you that
he
night.
told me, I think a couple of weeks prior to that, man, you really got to check out Shipley. And I'd already planned on coming out to see you because I'd heard about you over the past like 6-7 years now. And I was like, this is stupid. Why the fuck am I broadcasting an image of just metal? And then I realized you're not just broadcasting now. I was broadcasting then as just metal, but metal to me means love for the scene. If you know any metalheads, and I'm talking to everybody listening, if you know any metalheads that come to local shows, they have a love for the scene that's unlike anything you'll ever see. I have watched guys that have followed bands for 20 years in this area that still play, and the only reason they go to it is so they can explurge the energy and the love and the hatred behind some of the scene, because there is some hatred in our scene, and it's not like, oh well, your band's better than mine, fuck you. Look, the first show that I ever had with Sacrifice the Gods, Larry White made me feel like the worst motherfucking bass player on the planet. I'm not bullshitting. I watched that fucker play and he made my balls go, we're done. Like, I'm not playing after him, And then the worst that I ever experienced, and I'll shut up after this and start getting to our points, but the worst show I ever had to experience, and it wasn't like it was a bad show, my gear crapped out, my bass fucked up, I missed parts. It wasn't that kind of thing. It was literally, we went on after Annihilate the Hero in SOC. We went on after, and our singer Chop literally made a statement that blew my mind. He goes, going on after fucking Annihilate the Hero is like Nickelback going on after Hanson. And it fucked I may not be reciting that correctly, but it was along those lines of, what the fuck are we doing up here? This is like Backstreet going on after Slayer. It was not appropriate for us, but we played through it, we had fun. But your situation is always in the last 5 months that I've really been trying to come out and see you and finally been able to incorporate that. I've watched you do everything from bleed, literally, and I mean that metaphorically. I didn't mean he cut himself, because these people are listening and some people don't understand English. And when I say that, I mean you bled for the scene since the SIMC days. Yes. I'm not fluent with the SIMC days. I came in at the tail end when it was dying.
Yes.
And what I mean by dying is the SIMC came from the underground and they ran above ground for a short frame.
Yes.
And then they were forced to go back underground due to poor business decisions, bands that were losing members. And on top of that, it was the beginning, I believe, the tail end of their struggle was the beginning of our struggle on venues that were crapped
yes,
around.
100%.
I honestly believe that was what was going on, because I remember seeing them play anywhere you wanted to play if you could rent the hall. Mm-hmm. The VFW, the Eagles Lodge, the Moose Lodge, wherever you could. That's where they held a lot of this shit, because you could rent the hall and there was no discretion. Mm-hmm. If your fans were coming, they were coming. There wasn't no, well, our regulars are going to be shutting this place down because you know that's what's going on now.
The Mr. Michael shows were rented venues.
Do what?
The Mr. Michael shows back in 2007 somewhere, I believe. Those shows were huge. They had 600-700 people in them, but they were a rented hall. They rented out buildings. So those were rented the same way. But those venues were slowly dissipating.
Oh yeah, it's gotten real bad in the past 5 years. I've watched the VFW, the Moose Lodge, and the Eagles. I brought them up earlier, but the reason I brought them up is because they're all closed here. Our VFW is the library now. It's right next door to the CE Brim library here in Mount Vernon, so now it's part of the library. Moose Lodge up for sale. Eagles Lodge, a restaurant. And these were places you could pay $200-300, and the bands would all conjure up the money. Mm-hmm. Whoever, the promoter or whatever, if you had the luck of having a promoter and he forked out the dough, he would do that. Now, in Mount Vernon, and this is no disrespect, I'm saying this because some of you live here and you're probably going to be listening to it. No disrespect to the bar owners whatsoever, but like Geo's, they have music. No jogger near us. Yeah. It's not a hate, it's, hey, we don't want to fucking piss off our regulars and then we're stuck losing our regulars. The bar closes. Yeah. We thought that we SOC and Sim especially, because I did the concert series, we booked 3 shows at 3 different places, and 2 months after we booked those shows, they closed. So we thought we were part of that, oh fuck, we just closed these guys down. Yeah. So I've always had that, oh shit, I've created bad business in the back of my head, which goes towards our conversation off the books that dealt with me being part of another festival type sort, or Sim creating a new festival like Metal in the Mountains. You know, I've always felt that I would rather be more comfortable promoting all of you and making sure that I fucking share your shit 45 times a damn month.
Which is awesome.
Thank you. That's what I went with, and then I grew from that and went, oh shit, I have a tablet. I have an iPad. Fuck this. We're gonna go see some shows.
That's where you're standing in front of me.
Right. My wife bought me a Camaro so I could fucking literally go travel.
Which is really pretty.
Yes, she is pretty.
No, not your car is.
That's what I'm talking about. My wife's gorgeous too.
I didn't know if your car was male or female.
No, that's my baby. Her name's Baby. Baby Blue.
Yeah, I have been in the scene for a long time. I come from a very long history, and being where I'm at now is different, but I work with a lot of different scenes, and it took me a lot to get in those doors. Right. And I had to run some shows myself. I was always different too when I was playing that, no, I don't want to play where you guys are playing. Even when you saw me at Faust and Abaddon at May 11th at JJ's. Yeah. I did not play in the same place that they were. I wanted to really stick out.
Yeah, you had stage stuff.
I wanted to do, and I've done that. I've had shows where the act will be here and the lights will go out and I appear behind you.
Right.
And that's always been a part of my gimmick and who I am and what I do. And I fought to be myself. And that was a really hard fight, when you talk about getting here. It was important to be open-minded in that sense, as I already worked with so many musicians, so it wasn't harder for me to see subgenres of different music be together, but there was so much outlast. No, that's not gonna happen. No, that will never happen. I was physically told, this will never fucking happen. There will never be rap here. And I'm like, so shocked.
Yeah, because if you live in Mount Vernon, and
I'm so shocked because no matter what genre I was in, Baldy, it saved my life. If I wouldn't have got into the part of hip hop that I got into, I wouldn't be alive. And I can say that for my friend that's no longer here, that he saved my life because he was able to keep me, because no matter what we were doing, it was passion.
Yeah.
And I always...
And that's the part of Southern Illinois metal.
And I'm just saying, I'm sitting back watching, and nowadays I sit in front of Baldy, something that I was told that would never fucking happen. I sit here and think, now I have a voice to say something to all of you, and that is that we're all struggling and that we all have to get past this. I'm hearing Norman Lucas in the background. He doesn't know me that well, but I'm listening to every word he's saying.
Same here.
But I just want to make that known that us working together means a lot to me, because it tells me that what people told me that wouldn't happen wasn't right. And that to never give up on your dreams, because once you do, they're a memory. They're no longer possible.
Yes.
And
once they exist, it's no longer a dream.
And when you say bled, yes, I've lost a lot to get here, and it made me really, really care about it. I care a lot about, so I want to make it known when you talk to me now, I want to make it be known in this, that it's important that everyone behind me gets in the door, and that if I can make our scene a better place. It's funny that the Unity, I didn't know about them until later on. But
I didn't know about it until 3 months ago.
When I was getting to Kellerman and getting to Uncle Dave and finally getting to you, right before that, my push on stage was, this is not about first place. This is about making our scene a better place. And that's what I was pushing. That was a dialect that you were somewhat hearing from some people, which I want to say Clarence, Kellerman, and Rich. I love both of those.
That was mostly what I was hearing. And then when I noticed that you were going to headline, because I caught headline Mountain Mayhem.
Yeah.
Host Mountain Mayhem.
House was
Oh, well, he's got a show with Faust, May 11th. I want to go to that one first. I didn't want that one to be, because you know how it goes around here. Oh, well, I'm going to go see him because he's on a bigger card. That's the way it works around here now. Like when I did Metal in the Mountains 5, I put Gogata on there. Yes, Gogata was the fucking selling point. You know what the problem with that was? Everybody came to see Gogata. Nobody came to see the rest of the other bands. Mm-hmm. I watched 4 bands out of 9 playing an empty house.
And you didn't know I was at that show?
No, I did not.
I was there. Because I had to see, because I came from Gogata scene. I played in metal bands with them. And that's the thing that a lot of the guys don't know, that some of them do, but some of them, even Clarence, you, Scoob, there's a lot of people, Wrench, they didn't know that I was in metal.
Right.
So coming to here now, it's weird. When I was in metal, we were too heavy and people didn't want nothing to do with us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so when I get into hip hop, they're like, no, and then I'm thinking to myself,
you had the Kid Rock effect.
Well, I'm also looking at it as it was different for me, because I had to accept a different form of music. But I look at it now as I'm sitting in an interview with you. I'm playing music with some of the most amazing people I've ever played with in my life. Apparently, I was doing something that I felt was right. But I wanted to.
It just took a minute.
I think that this conversation is important, because I think that this can change a scene. I think it can help a scene. I would give up.
I hope it does.
I would give up my spot for someone else to have a chance. And there are, I can name, I don't want to throw names, but Jeremy Baldy, Clarence Kellerman, Uncle Dave, any of those people deserve the same. I just want to make it known that I wouldn't have been here without that.
Right.
And that's why I said our scene, if we can show our fans that, because when you watched, or when you guys, let's say Kyle Bissell, when he watched Sons of Cain and Faust, or Syraxis, Sons of Cain and Syraxis, their people run Field of Screams.
Yeah.
When they watched our show at May 11th, I had a 3-hour conversation on the phone with both of them about, you guys are on each other's stages, and said, I want that in my scene. And I'm like, you are my scene.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, is it's weird to me, because we're talking about this, is all these people are like, why can't they? I'm like, dude, you guys are my scene.
Yeah.
So I want, this conversation was huge for me to really bring that together. And I believe that there's a lot of things that we're about to touch that is important on that.
Yeah.
So again, from the bottom of my heart, rest in my soul, I'm so thankful to be here. I just want you to know that. And I'm glad to see you fucking back. Because as weird as it is, and how much that people told me I wouldn't work with you, I was like, as soon as I saw you in front of me for the first time, I said, oh, buddy.
Was that in Borders?
No, yeah. May 11th, really.
Oh, yeah.
And you were standing in front of me, and I was yelling at you on stage. I said, they told me this would never happen. I embraced that because it meant a lot to me. So
appreciate it. So what do you think the current status of our scene is? Why are people not showing up at shows?
My first thing I want to say is there's so much talent here. The second thing, I mean, so much talent.
Yeah, I've got almost 60 bands, and that's from Missouri,
your basement,
Illinois.
Shoot the shit just tells it all. Like,
Right.
so many amazing shirts from Fun Gone Wrong to Syraxis to fucking Abaddon. There's so many good. There's so much great that can happen, but there's so many problems with the scene. And what I mean by that is, like, every show, I play on multiple different Ren shows, rap shows, metal shows. So I have a different insight than a lot of other people in a really strong metal scene here.
Yeah.
That you guys are so great that I love it so much. But I think that there's so many different things. Like, I feel like it's weird to me, and I don't want to disrespect nobody. But how can you pay a cover band $400 and have a set night every night, but not let an original band play and you don't even pay them?
Yes.
That's a
'cause
problem.
we're stuck with charging.
Because I'm Council Frogs are a cover band. I love all the members in that band, and I'm best friends with all of them. And I play any show with any of them.
Right.
Fucking Andy Reedus, man, that dude has supported me in hip hop. I just love it.
Andy's a good dude.
He's a great dude, and I hope to do some things with him soon.
You hear that, Andy?
He hears. I talk to him all the time. There's a lot of people that I'm working with to try to help that, but I'm asking all of you to let me in to help too.
I think you're already in now.
I'm just saying, like, you saw May 11th and you saw the
Yeah.
activity of our show. I believe that having those strong acts that work really well together are... No, I think that, like I said, it's a problem with original bands not getting paid over cover bands, because the one thing I want people to understand is a lot of these musicians, they all work together. We all work together, and we're all saying that there's a problem. I think that speaks volumes to me, being on the podium that I am. Like we all have to work together, but like how we work together is important. And for me, like, okay, Kellerman, Bolik, anyone in the scene, if they're doing something, I'm supporting it. I'm trying to be at their shows. It's hard for me because I work so much and I go to shows. You can ask a lot of people.
Right.
I'm seeing some of that, but it's not as much. There are not a lot of members who play in bands who go out and watch each other's shows.
Yes.
That is happening.
There's only a few that I've seen in the past that are still continuing it.
Me and Clarence climbed in a fucking car and drove all the way up to bumfuck Egypt to watch this show in Windsor, and it was fucking awesome.
That's the one you sent me the videos for because I couldn't make.
Me and Kellerman had a blast, and I thought to myself, like, I stopped doing that too. But it was because
Same here.
I was guilty of like working so hard at what I did.
Yeah.
Now I understand it, and now I understand that we have to help other people too.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck if you're like Phil the Screams or SIMM or me or like. Yeah. I don't look at it as competition. I look at it as I want people to hear Uncle Dave. I want people to hear Cosarun. I want people to hear Abaddon.
Right.
Like, holy shit. I don't know if you watched them in Mayhem, but.
I watched them tear up some shit at fucking that Faust show. Faust.
To even things that are happening in the scene, like I know that you're very active in the background and you're not, I don't want to let anything out that's not supposed to come out yet, but I'm just saying I am proud to see you back. I'm proud to see you doing it because I think that no matter who had a difference with you, I think that you can agree that you see the scene different now.
Yeah, I do.
Than what you did and the decisions that you were making in those shows.
The decisions that I made during those shows, I was with my ex-wife, and now that's not something I'm going to go out there against my ex-wife, but there was a different mentality then, but it was.
It's like this guy.
I didn't have a love for everybody that was in our network, and the network was way more spanned across several genres that I should have had love for then.
For me, when you ask me that, I think it's taking accountability for your own actions. Like when people bitch about millennials, or they bitch about people that spit shit on the internet,
or in our case, genres.
Anyway, they do that.
Yeah.
They are looking at the world and not what we have in different. What we have in common is not really looked at. No. And when I say like Jeremy, I cannot do what that dude does, and I'm fucking blown away.
Same here, so I play bass.
But he looks at me as the same way that I never thought was possible.
Right. Because you could do something he can't.
I felt like
he feels he couldn't do.
I felt like I was stupid doing what I was doing until I lost the person to help me do that. And what he was about music, and we brought a lot of people together when we were together. Yeah. I want to do that again. And I believe that another problem is having and I'm not shitting on any show. Please do not think that I'm shitting on any. Like I said, people are stupid. They don't listen.
Yeah.
Everybody has focus on let's do Mayhem, let's do this show, let's do this show. Instead of having all these little things in between to build up. Okay, I look at my music as a wrestling promo. You have an entrance, you have that.
Yeah.
The venues are not promoting.
No.
They do for that one. We talked about that.
Yeah.
That one initial 3 weeks in, they'll put flyers up in their own building.
2 months before the show.
What happened to the days to where if I run a building, I'm in control of that building where I can run it and do my shows.
Yeah.
Then you get, when you do that, you have all these, you can't do that, you can't do that, you can't.
You're gonna run our locals out.
Okay, Baldy,
whatever excuse they
how
got.
does it make sense for me to pay you $300 and you won't let me move the pool table out in front of the band?
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. I know where you're talking.
I also seen something, you want to know how much I fucking pay attention to you? Let's all get together and rent a building. I agreed with that.
Yeah.
And I think that that's one of the states that we're going to have to do is we as artists, and I'm willing to do that, we have to invest into our scene too.
That's the way it was during the SAMC days. I mean, the SAMC, they would 9 bands, 7 bands, 5 bands, whatever the fuck it was. And it was like, 4 shows, 5 shows that were titleless, IMC, and then a number. And it billed. And what they would do is they would get together, throw the money together, go rent the hall. They gave all of them equal right to do their own shit there. And those halls would allow it. You can't do that at a bar. That's not today.
And I think a lot of it has
how many, you live in Salem. I know you guys lost your Moose. You guys lost a few other places that were
they stopped
rentable
doing it.
venues. We call them rentable venues.
They stopped doing it with the community centers and they stopped doing it with the Lions.
And it wasn't local based. It wasn't none of that shit. It was just flat out that
and
they didn't want to put the work forward to advertise a show that's going to make them money at the bar.
And I want to stress this. I really want to stress this because
when you're playing at a show, you're there to make sure that bar makes money on the booze. You're there to make sure that that venue holder makes money to pay his power, his water, his gas, his fucking rent. If he's renting the building, leasing the building, because he's not leasing the whole building. If he is, he's getting a certain square footage. If he's renting the whole building, you better hope it's tiny because it's not cheap down here.
No.
It's bullshit. And I agree hardcore. When I seen my wife, I was upstairs working on your website actually. And I was upstairs, and my wife came to me about maybe a third of the way through the Unity Not Separation video with Norman, and set it down. I was typing away at code, and she set it down, and I had to stop. And for an hour, I agreed with everything this fucker said. It's everyone. It's not just the bar that's making it a bad day for themselves. It's the venue. Or not the venue, the fucking promoter. The promoter, if you've got a person that put on a show and got all 5 of you together, it's his responsibility to make sure that fucking show is promoted as much as possible.
I think that the promotion side disappeared. The promotion side was put on the artists. We talked about that. The artists are...
Facebook caused that.
Yes. Oh, and I don't want to make it all internet's bad.
No, internet's not bad. I'm saying that the facial, there's no, like you and I know this because we're not from this generation of texting and shit. Our texting was leave a note on a motherfucker's door because you drove to his house on your bike for 4 hours.
We were just talking about that every day.
Yeah.
But
when you today it's set up.
And you don't know how to read a map anymore.
Yeah, like Harry Wadley from Fun Gone Wrong and fucking Lunatic told me one night. My wife is real good friends with him. That's how me and him got real tight, even though our first shows were together with Fun Gone Wrong and Spirit of Chaos. But I was always intimidated by Harry. But
I want to work with Harry all the time.
Oh, yeah.
So if you hear me, come work with me.
Come on the show, brother.
Yes, come on the show, definitely, because your history is Lunatic, all of your history.
Yeah, I didn't know nothing about any of that shit. I feel so envious towards Andy, Jim, Jared, fucking Harry, all them guys from Lunatic.
All of them.
I did not know them. I did not know about Slayer. I didn't know about that shit back then.
Yes.
I heard about Slayer through my brother, Tony, who was like, dude, you gotta hear this shit. And I'm like, dude, I can't get into heavy shit like that. Because I was all like MC Hammer. And back then it was Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer. So I was like, fuck the local. I didn't know nothing about local. You know what I mean? Local to me was Powerload. You know, Donnie and David Fuller. I don't remember. To this day, I could not recite a member other than them two because first time I ever seen them play was at fucking, I think it was either Ramada Inn or the VFW just out by fucking Blueford here in near Mount Vernon, Jefferson County. But I remember hearing them play all the damn time, and that was back when you could walk in a bar, or not a bar, but a lounge in a hotel or motel, And you could sit in there at 18 years old and listen to them. You just couldn't drink.
Yeah.
I mean, we did, but it's whatever. But that was my introduction to cover bands in the scene. And then I heard about the Hales Boys shortly after that. They've been around fucking forever. American Lion I remember hearing about before Golgotha, and they were just like, they weren't American Lion then. They became it, I think, shortly after. I may be wrong on that, but my introduction was literally, I believe, if I stand mistaken, if not, correct me, but excuse me, I've been drinking. SIMC2. I literally watched, I don't know what band because I was fuckered up, but I literally watched a band blow their guitar strap, and 4 guys that were not playing on stage, ran out the auditorium area, which was set up. Now picture this for a second, okay? It was set up for a wedding reception, and 9 or 7, I don't even know how many, but local, I would call deathcore bands, were getting ready to play on this frilly, white, flowery, everything's pretty, I'm gonna get married tomorrow stage. So that was my introduction. And my cousin Jeff, I sat there from noon with no money. I had enough money to buy a 6-pack if I was lucky. Me and my ex-wife bolted. She was probably pissed by the time we left, but we sat there from noon until damn near midnight before Golgotha went on. And I was watching fucking Frail. I was watching fucking Annihilate the Hero. I was watching whatever the fuck they were called before they were called Annihilate the Hero. I'd have to grab the disc and fucking edit.
Amazing,
but
man. Yeah. Missed.
Yeah, definitely, because I seriously missed their last show and I feel like a dick for
I got to play it.
But Jeff comes up to me, and I'll never forget it as long as I live, I hope. Comes up to me, and I'm sitting in a steel chair, and my ex-wife at the time was running around some fucking where, and he comes up to me, he taps me on the shoulder, and he goes, "Buckle your fucking seatbelt." I said, "What the fuck?" He goes, "We're getting ready to start." I was like, "All right, I'm here for you, motherfuckers," because I sat through 12 hours of heavy metal, had a migraine by the end of the night because my ears weren't tuned to that.
Yeah, you weren't ready for that.
No, I wasn't. And then I heard
wasn't
Golgotha, and here I am watching Chester Armstrong Jr. before he was in the band, running around like a crazy fucking Indian with a goddamn cast on his arm, moshing.
Yep.
And I watched these guys fucking jam, and I dug the music. Right off the top, I dug the music. And it was like, what the fuck am I watching?
Yes.
The next day I wake up and I'm like, I'm hurting like hell, and I had a smile on my face. I'd never had pain from a head, what we call the bangover, and been happy about it. So that was my introduction to it. What was yours?
Mine was really After School Special, which is Derek Hover, Chris Decker, and Ricky Lindsay. Rick Lindsay or Rick, I don't want to say his name wrong. If I see him now, I'd know him, but I don't really talk to him much anymore. I talk to a lot of these people, which Derek Hover and Chris Decker became the Hucksters. So they later on, which actually just played recently as a reunion. And their main guy, Derek Hover, like, he taught me how to run a VA. He's a punk guy. He's one of the cool. My very first time ever playing in a band was in his attic, and he's like, "Did you use my VA? I don't give a fuck."
Mr Shipley Productions.
Sometimes we lose the most important people in our life for no reason. Sometimes we're sacrificed by those people for no reason. And the only thing you can do is continue to survive. Because your life is worth more.
How can you not even conceive that you become such a fucked up human being, doing such horrible actions without morals or feelings? And enough is enough, punishing me for your sin, and got my world is spinning, getting caught up in your own life you're denying, and the proof is right there but you're denying. Open your eyes, it's fucking dying. So I must let you keep on dying. Destroy yourself from your own life, depriving reality, and you're taking that out on me, punishing me for what you want me to be. No more, I'm simply done with this shit, nor will I listen to a word of it. Just another selfish belief to change me from me. Through actions of morals not restrained, you have treated my life like I was a liability, like I was a novelty. So welcome to Mr. Shipley. Please tell me how it became like this. Love to hatred, to touch and instant confusion on the fucking content. And I'm losing my mind and becoming distant to my existence. I push everything away, taking aside myself around my brain. It comes out lyrically. The distorted existence from living in confusion. Riddled decision from faded visions of so many slots and positions. And I'm watching my friends die from inside, from the mind trap, from the past hurt in life, destroying more parts of their mind. And they'll probably never understand why. Maybe grab the concept from past hurt in life. And I don't know what to say anymore, is it even worth a try? Cause they can't even hear a word I'm saying till they understand the choices I made and why. Through actions of morals not restrained, you have treated my life like I was a liability, like I was a novelty. So welcome to Mr. Shipley's musical pain rhapsody. No more control or dictating my fate. Now I musically imprecate till the nihility consumes your reality. Fate, life's not a game. Could the people don't forget pain and misery they conceive from evil human beings with the friends befriending the compassion descending. No more defending or trusting, cause now it's contradicting. Through actions of morals not restrained, you have treated my life like I was a liability, like I was a novelty. So welcome to Mr. Shipley's musical pain rhapsody.
And I just played there for like
Free
months.
Rampage.
But also Self-Restraint, which became members of Calico System. But Self-Restraint was like going to St. Louis. They were touring. I roadied for them. They taught me how to run equipment. And just every day it just was so awesome to be playing music and running around. And then Point of Violence. Point of Violence was like the local lunatic.
About them.
They became the lead singer that became the lead singer of Wu-Tang Dynasty.
Gotcha.
But the shit that Jonah did at that time was very influential to me, and the lead singer of Calico System and the guitar player are very influential to me, because the guitar player actually is Sean Keith, who became an executive guy in Sumerian Records, who lives in California.
Nice.
And when you said Frail, I played many shows with them, who is now Denny Blackwell, and he's in St. Louis, which he just did work with me, and a shout out to him because he made my pictures. I am fucking blown away. Hence my pictures in the scene.
Yeah, they're good.
But
he's good.
the camaraderie, and I felt home. I felt like I am a different musician, and since when I play live, I'm in a different world. I'm reliving shit that I went through because my aunt was murdered when I was 7, and she did clown work for children. I'm not, no disrespect to ICP, but I'm not. I'm a real clown. Like,
Right.
I can make balloon animals.
Right.
I can juggle. I take it
I
very
mean, shit, you
seriously.
just brought me a gift that.
You'll send pictures out.
Right. But tell everybody that they need you to know what the base on this is.
I come from a world that's very different, and I learned in a very young age that you embrace every moment that you have, and if something is really, really meaningful to you, run it hard, whether or not people believe in it or not. And I had very influential people that were possible in that, like too.
Right.
But I also watched the scene go multiple times, like in my conversation with Uncle Dave and Jeremy at Mayhem. White bands are playing, and we're just fucking blown away, like this is all going on. Dave, somebody who's been in our scene for a long time, before any of us were doing anything, said,
Right.
I've never seen it like this, we have to change it. The venues are paying.
What do you mean by seeing it like this? Is it
An implosion of talent and humbleness. Where I
nowhere to put it.
I played in a lot of bands and played shows, like I played at Point of Violence at Calico System and Go God back in the early days, even the bands that you were playing with,
Right.
As Seconds Fade, and there's so many great bands that came from this area, but there's so many of those people that are still in the scene.
Yeah.
You're in the scene, you're doing, and I think that your work.
And I've only got a decade here. A lot of people like yourself have got
I see
20 plus years.
people like Neil Miller and Uncle Dave and me and Jonah as people that are giving back to our scene with equipment, with teaching people how to record. Neil records. He has a studio.
Yeah,
I went and sang with him, and I was just like, what the? He has amazing. I have those guys are starting to come in my studio, which I'm gonna say it right now. I said in an interview in Scoop, I said if I could host a fucking festival, and I did it at Mayhem, and Clarence and many people were that, but I'm saying, okay, now that I'm here, I think that it's important to use that platform to speak proper and speak to, like, I have little kids watching me now.
Yeah.
Most people don't have fan families. I have married couples and their kids, and they come watch my shows.
You'd be surprised. When I went to go see Syraxis play at American Screw, I was seeing people that came to see Rose Divide. And there was a lot of kids.
Yeah.
There was probably 5, 6 kids.
It's hard for us.
The kids were in the shirts, but they were running around just hanging out.
My point that
You
you used to be able, even to bars, I think another problem is you can't, they're not doing the wristbands so kids can be in the bar that are underage and not drinking, and that depletes the show.
Liquor licenses changed.
Yes.
However, but Jefferson County's that way. Jefferson County's that way.
We're not left.
When we did I don't mean to interject, but when we did Metal in the Mountains 3, we had probably a dozen kids that, and I say kids, I mean under age of 21. Because in Jefferson County, you can't even be outside the bar without a beer garden with booze. Unlike where you can drive 30 minutes any direction you want, and it's legal. But Fun Gone Wrong played. And there was literally Backhead Nation sitting outside on lawn chairs. We literally opened the gate doors to the if you're at the crossing, the far out gate, we opened those gate doors and left them wide open. We had 2 guys standing right there, make sure nobody was walking through those gates unless they had a fucking lanyard. And the guys from Fun Gone Wrong, after their set, about maybe 30 minutes after their set, rebagged and went out there and signed and hung out and fucking met their young fans, because we couldn't do anything like that. That was the whole point. After 3, we took it to the Granada so we could get underage, any age. I don't give a fuck if you're an infant. Bring them in.
I don't want to change
it. Charge it.
But Salem did the same day. They went from the community center to the Roadhouse.
And I caught shit for that. The Larry's Irish Pub literally shunned me. And I don't care if I go live on this for that or not, because they literally shunned me because I took something that I felt, okay, there's 15 kids sitting out here not being able to come inside and hang out with us and get up front in the band's face, and that's what they want to do. So I took it to the Granada, and I was never allowed to come back to the Crossing to book a show. Mountain Mayhem, Chop took that over to get it back in there again.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful he did that. When it first happened, I'll be honest, I was pissed.
Yeah.
I was pissed. I felt hurt.
Well, I think that's why this is important now to get that. Like, it's time for us to move past that. And it's time for us to, like me, I'm looking at, like, how can I want to look at it like The Godfather. How can you set me in a room with all you motherfuckers? Right. Like, to where we can all work together. Like, we've said a few names, and I don't want to disrespect, like,
never.
Norman Lucas, meet me. I'll change
Same here.
To change your world in a different way, because I'm not for everyone. But I do see a huge problem. And we're not doing shows in, you said venues and halls. We're not doing them anymore there. No. They don't exist. We're doing them in bars. And that changed the rules. Yep. And I know we have to. I also
and the rules are being changed back at us again, because we're promoting, like I'm promoting the hell out of everything I can on you guys. And I'm still not seeing any change.
It's also when you talk about SIMC, they came at the last moment when even the genre was changing, and it was like everything was going to a new world. We had something that was running so good in Salem, and it got to its end and it ran. Yeah. But the one problem,
I think it's inevitable to go back underground, but if we all fight.
It also worries me, if I would sacrifice my pay if I knew the money was going into the venue to better the venue.
Yes,
to better
just
the
to
sound.
keep us booked.
Just to keep us booked.
Yeah.
I also think that
amongst other reasons. I mean, they got to make money, but we got to be booked.
I work with a lot of bands. I see a lot of bands that may have a manager, but probably most likely their singer or their drummer or somebody manages the band. They cut out that flack because they can't make the money to support that.
They got to nominate somebody.
We don't really have a real strong point promoter who can. We need those people. Like, we need investors. Yeah. You know, like, okay, let me example. There are big rappers who were never nothing until somebody invested into them.
Exactly. Can't make money if you don't spend money.
I want to make a point. When I was in Salem scene, and I'm really strong, we did a lot of things that were like at fairgrounds and stuff. Physical metal guitar players with piercings all over their face stood at fairgrounds with buckets and did all these things for the community. And at the end of it, do you know what we did? We built skate parks in Salem and Centralia.
Nice.
So I want to get back to that, but I don't know how to fix it. I only know that I know a couple of things that work. I believe putting really passionate bands with people that are really gracious together. Like when I ran shows with, like at Mayhem or May 11th, you watch those. You watch members on stage being hugged and screamed.
Yep.
Those people eat that up.
Everybody from the scene was there in your face.
The beginning of the show, they're kind of like away, but then they come together. And then I go to like places that I don't want to call it venues, but I go to a bigger venue that we were at actually, where I saw your baby blue for your first time. And I stood next to Chief, somebody that's also very important, that stood behind the shows like Chewy and these guys who have just let us have the platform. And it bothers me because I don't know how to fix it. All I know is that I'm not going to let it die without me fighting.
Same here. I mean, it's reached a point now where it feels like, honestly, and I'm sure there's other bands out there and other members of bands out there that feel this way too. It feels like, okay, we've got a place. Like what just happened with Field of Screams.
That's horrible.
Yeah, they finally got a venue that will back their baby, their thought process. And it really is a thought process that turns into a small child for us. You know, I mean, you get booked at a place, you play a couple shows there, and then you watch it close. Well, there's so many people out there that think that it closes because of poor management.
Yes.
They think it closes because, you're allowing metal to come in and play now, and your regulars have bounced. There's a number of denominations that can cause a business that's fluent that you may not have known about having financial issues when you decided to book with them. And not to be disrespectful to any bar owner or band, sometimes these bar owners go, well, let's try something new, and they book us, and it doesn't work out for them, and it looks very poorly projected on the artist or the act. In your case, because your case is considered an act, and you are an artist. You're not metal, you're not rap, you're a musician. But it looks poorly on us. So then you see these other bars that go, well, they just booked this same production company like 4 nights throughout a month, and they closed. Well, fuck that, we're not booking that. So it's actually the bar owner's responsibility, I think, if you're going to close, I mean this very, very politely and nice, and I am not trying to be a dick. If you're going to close, then you should probably, after the promoter's last show has been canceled, in the case of Field of Screams, you should probably put out a post that states that it's along the lines of, if I do an interview, your opinions are not based on my opinion. Tell everybody in the scene that's watching this bar close, where you might have 50 people come to, automatically they see this. Other bar owners see this and they think, oh, well, fuck that, I'm not booking metal no more. Fuck that, I'm not booking rap no more. Fuck that, I'm not booking cover bands no more. Whatever the problem might have been, that the people that are the fans that don't. So, where did you get your start in music?
Well, I did a lot of plays and stuff when I was a kid. I was really active in school. I was the class clown. And like I said, my aunt was murdered when I was 7, and she did clown work for children. And that was really inspirational to me because she's really close to me. She was a really big person in my life. Last memories I have of her singing to me. And we always in cars singing and stuff. So as I got later in life, the Doors and certain bands, Pink Floyd, were all influential to, I had a lot of people around me that listened to a lot of different music. My grandpa was a huge choir singer. He'd go all over the country singing. I enjoyed watching him. And then my brothers started coming in with metal records, like Metallica and stuff like that, but it really didn't grasp me at that time. And then when I got about 17 or 18, I was in a really crazy place in my life, very angry and very aggressive, and I don't know, I started hearing music that was I was introduced to bands that I was able to grasp at that time that were very emotional, like Korn and Deftones and stuff like that, that had that emotional draw, and you'd see singers on the ground, which made more sense to the Doors, and him being on the ground, and Janis Joplin, and Jimi Hendrix, and all those were influential with their passion. But then really getting into metal was, I don't know, like I went to a concert and I just seen the singer fucking just kill himself and just run around like that, and it was real. It was coming out of him, you know, like Snot and Korn and Limp Bizkit. But then really getting into like the musical structure of somebody playing an instrument like that, like seeing Napalm Death and watching their drummer play 800 beats per minute, I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, and I've never even seen him.
And then watching, you know, getting into that stage where it was like Chimera and Lamb of God and Dillinger Escape Plan and Between the Buried and Me, Born of Osiris, fucking, dude, their Mudvayne, Chad Gray was hugely inspirational because, dude, if you watch him during LA 50, he like had to stop singing like that because he was like hurting himself mentally, because he was living in this rage in his heart all the time. And then people who like Zach De La Rocha from Rage, who was so like passionate, whether it was political or the passion behind him and why he was there, and you'd see it on his teeth. And then I went to some local shows, and I saw a couple metal singers. One was Harry Wadley, and I saw fucking Jonah Rubik, and I saw Mark Owens from Calico System, and I saw Josh Keener from Self Restraint. And to see it that close up personal and know their lives a little, and then later on to be fucking kicked in the chest by Golgata, or be kicked in the chest by fucking Point of Violence, or any of those bands.
Point of Violence.
To really going through a shitload of music, and then to really, he brought in everything. He brought everything in with no judgment, no standard. And like I said, I liked some Eminem and he liked ICP, and we hated each other. And at the end, we found that we were listening to both each other's music. And with him, he was always, I want to say is the most, like, I can know all these bands, but he was one of the most important because he laid the foundation for me to do what I do, in the sense of, I don't care what you are, what you do. If you do it with passion. Yeah. So then I started listening to Bob Marley and Eric Clapton and Bob Seger and all these artists that I'd never seen that way. And I went through a period where I was like a life inflection, I guess, where it changed me, where it became a whole life. And certain singers, I realized they were with me longer than people in my life were. And these guys embedded these things in me with like Walk in Hell and fucking, they embedded these things into me, what I do. And I started feeling different. I don't want to be disrespectful, but I started being like, I don't want to watch a band play live. I want to do it. Right. I want to be the one.
I reached that point too.
And then I found myself, people
way later
telling me that they watched me beat myself with a microphone, or they watched me break a mic stand on my head, and I didn't even know what happened. And then I realized, watching back the feed, that I was dealing with a different animal. And then when Toot died, everything that we were working on started to happen, and I was ready to be done. I was ready, like, oh man, what? Now this is gonna happen? I wish.
I don't mean to giggle. I mean,
it's good.
I get the side comment behind it.
To me now, to sit in this conversation, it's, I even said it a year later or a year before an interview, like it's all of that. It's everything together and all those pieces that came together. And I was inspired by, I hate when, I don't want to say I hate, I disagree with people who are like, this singer and this singer and this singer made me. I do. There's so many layers in what I do.
Too many.
If you watch me live, like you got to see me May 11th compared to May 25th. May 25th was more the Shipley side.
Yeah.
When I'm at, like, we talk about the scene changing. I even changed. I said I would never do covers. I did them because I knew I had to adapt to music. If I can play covers, then I can still play shows. I see guys like Seeger from fucking Skydweller and fucking Jeremy Bullock and all these people, Ross Lacey, all playing solo sets so they can play music because the venues are dying.
Yeah.
Okay, so I step in and say, what can I do? I can offer certain things, but I feel like we all have enough natural resources to get there. But musically, to me, it's the passion. It's real life. Like what I write, what my songs are about is what I've been through. Right. So I have my passed away friends' children listening to me.
Right.
That changes what you think about music. when you have
Yeah, I
his
can
mother,
see that being a major
your
influence.
passed away friend mother listening to what you're saying in songs. When you're going with these little kids to the rec site, putting up crosses for him. To me, that's where it became more real, and the music really became personal. You know, I grew up, and I like the hero there. It's fucking my local band, and I'll say their name. I don't care. They've been playing music so long, and they shook my hand at the end of their run, and I was blessed and fucking honored. But if it wasn't for Chop, if it wasn't for Kellerman, if it wasn't for Nil, if it wasn't for all those people saying, Baldy, listen to that would never happen. But to me, it's the passion, the real, like, watching certain singers that just, like, Lights of Arcadia's lead singer. You see him, he's everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
That dude's amazing.
Yeah, he literally ran around everywhere.
And then there's guys like
show.
Nil who build amps, and they live in that world where they're just so, like, they call me a beast, and I'm like, you know, I just fucking watch Broken Circle, and I'm like, you call me fucking talented? Come on. So, it really, and then I want to stress, what really changed me was those people saved my life.
Right.
They cared about me more than people that were my own blood. Now, I have my mother and certain people, but they cared about me more than people that were my friends that fucked me over. Jonah Brubaker, the lead singer of fucking Pointed Violence, Angry King Dynasty, and is a rapper now Topics. He saved my fucking life, and I will say that because he came to me and said, dude, my life's fucked up too, but let's make music together. He said, I don't think I'll ever try to rap. And so I was showing him that it's like, you can't say Slayer and Slipknot are the same thing.
No.
They're both metal.
Yeah.
But it's a different game. It's like Michael Jordan and LeBron James. You can't compare them. It's a different genre. And I'm so sick of the argument.
Same state, different laws.
Okay, it's like you could look at a picture and I could see fucking Anthrax, and I could see the next era be like fucking Sepultura, and the next era. But that doesn't make any one of them more of importance.
No.
And they all came from...
The only way that it actually does is opening the door
Yes.
for fans.
You know, even like
For
you,
just for
I know
fans, not
Pantera.
record labels, not producers, not record labels, none of that shit. It's literally for the fans. Because as a fan of metal, coming from my honest, I mean, you're looking around. We've been talking about. I got Barry Manilow records.
You got a lot of really bad.
You know, I grew up listening.
That King Cobra.
I grew up listening to this stuff from my parents. That's why my parents' vinyls are on the walls, because that's my background right there, is listening to different styles. My favorite, and a lot of people don't know this about me, but my favorite singer on the fucking planet is a tie between two men.
Is that
Johnny Mathis,
awesome.
Smokey Robinson.
Awesome.
Favorite two singers ever. I don't care if they played today. Still fucking kick it on and listen.
I just want to say I got to where I was at now, doing what I felt in my heart was right. And by keeping it pure and taking and not judging other people and not saying that they had, because nobody had the fucked up life that I had.
Mm-hmm.
You know, 3 years ago,
We all come from fucked up backgrounds.
3 years ago, I won't be when you talked about 3 years ago, I not only lost my best friend, a year later I lost my life in the place I became homeless, and I moved out of my house the day that my friend died. And it was a very dark place. And I thought that was the end.
Right.
I was wrong. But I also know that I have it in a sample, no matter what I've ever done, music has always been there.
Right.
It's always been there. It's never went away. It's in the music that I wrote now, which is weird to me because it was all written from an expelled pain that I went through, or something that I went through, or a thought that I had. When you have somebody walk up to you crying because they relate to something, it's like, wow, my pain helped your pain.
Yeah.
It all makes sense. Now it's like, I want to make it to where we can continuously do that. But for a long time, I also want to stress that there were a lot of comedians. There were a lot of people that judged me because they didn't know what I was.
Yeah.
When I was looking
I was part of that for a while.
I was looking at it in a different perspective, not that it's more important. I was looking at it as I was developed in a different world. I was developed in such a multi-genre, and I went through, and I felt like I couldn't understand, like I gave so much for a scene that wouldn't let me in the door. And I was like, I will benefit you more than you think I will.
Right.
And you could ask any of the guys that work with me that they love doing shows with me because of the passion. But I believe that when you talk about history, I tell all this, and it's important to that question because I feel it's important that the history is what made me get here.
Right.
And I had to go through those, just like you. Yeah. I made decisions when I was in metal. I didn't want to listen to rap when I was fucking in metal, and I was in a grind band where there was no singing. It was just fucking screamed at the top of your lungs. All. And I think to myself now that, dude, I love screaming, I love doing that. That's not, I want to do all kinds of music. I love music.
Right.
But that doesn't mean I have to hate this band or not listen to this band.
No, you shouldn't. I mean, that's. I think that's the biggest thing that's going on right now is when I decided that I wanted to restart is probably the best phrase to put it. Restart the sim page. I had a whole new outlook on the scene. I had a revived outlook on the scene.
I think a lot of people realized once it was gone for a while how good it was.
And I felt like
Because you said that to me when you came in. You're like, dude, I haven't seen this in so long.
Yeah.
Your
I think
face-
that was during our first conversation after the May 11th
first
show.
real conversation.
Yeah.
And I said, I told you.
Yeah. Show off.
Look at what you become, feeling so numb, lost in your ignorance and your confusion. Another day you just run away from your guilt, regret, choices you have made. And since the first time any right motherfuckers have heard from me, you can always tell I be a soulless, wingless angel. And I'm mentally mango, my mind continually stuck in a spell. My soul tango from walking on the boundaries of heaven and hell. And there'll be no apologies when I'm in inside named Shipley the Freeze. Feelings been given to me, wrapped in a blasphemy from tragedy. And if I two-faced motherfucking human beings, one day they hate you motherfucker, the next they wanna come back say sorry. And I can no longer take this crazy monotony. The lack of care is why you kept hiding all the crazy lying. And the wrong one for depriving and denying and conniving. Triton attributes you motherfuckers left deep inside of me. Now understand this bliss made me into all of this. Motherfucker in no written scripture, ripping the sickest lyrics, flipping out of a Caucasian, ripping the purest lyrics. Welcome to a Shipley circus and a ruckus remix spirit. Look at what you become, feeling so numb, lost in your ignorance and your confusion. Another day you just run away from your guilt, regret, choices you have made. How can my mind inspire? First of all, lost with some wisdom of people's demented visions, corrupt intuitions, intentions of people living burn bridges like contemplation, the twisted delusions. You burn way too many views. Life's too short not to live the life you choose. Open mind, get lost, confused. Pain grows and makes strong past abuse. Tell people you're worthy, use it to get you. No offense that happens to even the best in you. And we question who the hell you became. How can my mind inspire? First of all, lost with some wisdom of people's demented visions, corrupt intuitions, intentions of people living burn bridges. Contemplation, twisted delusions, you burn way too many fuses. Life's too short not to live the life you choose. Open mind, get lost, confused. Pain grows, it makes you strong past abuse. Tell people your word, they use it to get you. No offense that happens to the best in you. Look at what you become, feeling so numb, lost in your ignorance and your confusion. Another day you just run away from your guilt, regret, choices you have made.
No, I'm not a show up.
No. I'm just saying on that. I'm giving you shit.
It meant a lot.
Oh, I know. I mean, it meant a lot from you because you've got 10 years on me in this thing. SIMC, Elite. You know what I mean? You knew those guys. You
All those
partied, bled, and fucking headbanged with those guys.
all amazing
You know,
bands and artists.
the scene that I didn't catch.
That's one thing
I'm
I
envious.
say.
I'm envious to that because I didn't get to
When you
catch
said the
those
history,
years.
I'm just saying I still go to gas stations and I see the bass player from a band I played in, or I go to a
Right.
restaurant, or I'm on the internet and somebody sends me a message that says, dude, I'd have never fucking thought you'd be rapping, but that's bad as fuck.
Right.
I still am connected to those people that were in that scene.
That's what I was getting at. I feel like when my mom passed away, not even 6 months after Melon on the Spot, I decided to hang it up. At that time, I was done. I still am currently done with not promoting shows, but being the main producer of a show. I'm done with that.
You just want to bring it together now.
Yeah, I want to help everybody bring it together.
Which is
I had a member of a band. I'm going to remain nameless on that. A member of a band text me just shortly, if not right after the May 11th show, and wanted me to join on a festival to put the Sin banner on there. And the reason I declined was because I had been accused by other bands that were part of 1 through 5 on MIMT or at MITM, excuse me, of poor business ethics. So I decided not to be part of that anymore. I didn't want to be part of setting up shows, because here's what happens when you set up a show and you're a producer of a show. I guess you should call it that. Director of a show, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I spent a year contacting the bands, and I always started the day after, if not the week following a previous show. So if Metal Mountains 3 was over, I'm already booking the next week for Metal Mountains 4. So I hit up these bands, and all of a sudden they became, oh, well, that's our show.
Yeah.
We have to be on that show. That's our show. And I got to the point where it felt like so many of these bands are my friends. Yeah. So many of them are my friends. And it's so hard to be putting on a show, putting it together, and booking the bands. I don't suggest, if you're friends with the bands, to book them. Yeah. And I say that politely because it's so hard to go, you have to be at the top of this run. Yeah. You know, like my biggest mistake that I ever made during all these shows was a miscommunication between me and Chief. And it cost Lunatic the end of their show for the night. Yeah. And they were supposed to be on. It was the Metal Mountains 5, and it was supposed to be Annihilate, Lunatic, Go God, SIMC. Right there. It was the last 3 bands were all SIMC bands. Yeah. And it was Nogata's very last show. Chester retired after that show. He was done. Like, I actually bought Jason Robinson's bass. It's in my fucking storage room, signed by him. But yeah, and I wasn't even a part of half of it, let alone a quarter of it. Yeah. I didn't even know about Annihilate the Hero until after I was already in a band with SOC. Damn near 16, 17 years after they'd already been playing, you know what I mean? Amazing. I had no clue that I had watched them at SIMC 2. You know what I mean? I had no clue. But I got to a point where I did not want to be badged, bad business. I did not want that. So I declined to be on part of any show, and I still kind of do. There are a few things out there right now that are floating around right now that are trying to be brewed up that I would probably be a part of, but I don't want any collusion. You know what I mean? Since that seems to be a word that everybody's using these days. But I don't want anybody to go, oh, well, he's on this just to get his website out there. Or I don't want a band to go, oh, well, and yourself included, including Lost Port Studios, I don't want anybody to go, well, he's just trying to get us on there so he can make money on it. My shit's all, I pay for the website. Everybody has space.
Yeah, you're not. Even me, I'm the person here. You running, doing that for me. It was an honor. I was able to place. I have other things coming, and I want to, I got to stress that. I have other things coming because I do have to announce that I was going to be done. I was done because I felt like I had got, I felt like I couldn't top what just happened. Right. I felt like that was the greatest thing that would ever be given to me. And that was being accepted and being in those 2 shows. And when we talk about shows, I want to bring this up. I have been viewed for a long time as, oh, you're just rap. It don't matter. We're going to put these guys on because they're actually talented people. And
yeah, because you use a keyboard.
And then it got to where Kellerman and Faust, on May 11th, they were the very first time in my 20 years of being in this music and being myself and doing what I do, that they put me on for 2 hours in between 2:45. They only played 45 minutes. Right. They put me there for a reason. Yeah. And I can't thank them enough for that, but it also told me that I had more ground than I thought. Right. And people were asking me, like, I'm in a room with Baldy, picking heads about how we can help the scene. I got farther than what I thought. But in general, I kind of got lost for the moment because I was lost. Like this was not supposed to happen, and it was a 3 years anniversary to my friend's death. It just everything hit me at one time. I even was emotional over it because other people don't have that. It's different when you know, I feel for Ozzy losing Randy Rhoads or you know, Snot losing Lynn.
Yeah.
When I lost too, I don't know how I was able to do that. I don't know how I was able to come back from that. All I know is that the people that were there, you know, the mother of his children and his children, his mom, all of that, what they told me was what I followed, and that was I was a genuine person and I loved music, and that passion is what he loved, and to continue to do that. And I have lead singers, guitar players, metal people yelling at me that like, you need to get ready to do this. Like, you don't have a choice. You say you do not have a choice. So I announced that my step and why I've been distant is I'm sitting back listening to Sons of Cain CD. Amazing. Sitting back listening to Murder Machine's EP. Amazing. Abaddon shit.
I don't have that one yet.
Abaddon shit. Amazing.
Murder Machine. I don't have Abaddon shit either.
Man, and I'm sitting back and Sarax is amazing.
Oh, I love Sarax right now.
Solo stuff I just figured out. Wow.
I haven't had the chance
Phallus
to listen
is
to that
coming. I was a part of all that, and I'm amazed to see that, and I'm honored, and I just want to stress people like Nil took me in a studio. These people, I want that. I put me on stage, on any stage, and I will run harder than most people.
Right.
But right now, I was making decisions in a different lifetime.
Yeah.
You know, when I went to do this, I had to with me, and it was a different life.
That's the way it felt whenever I decided to end SIMM, which then was titled Baldys. I ran with SIMM for a while, and then I got an email from fucking some company in China saying I couldn't use an acronym if I decided to register the name. Yeah. So I went to Baldys, and then after that I was like, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna go with SIM. Yeah. There's no dots. It's not SIMM anymore. It's SIM. So it got me out of that. But whenever I quit, I felt like I was hurting the scene. When I left Metal of the Mountains 5, I felt like I was hurting the scene more than I was helping.
I was walking away from the scene that was not going to let me in the venues. In my area, all it is you're either a DJ or you're a fucking cover band. And they're not letting original music in the doors. We're a scene that held 700 kids at a time. It bothers me.
It still kind of feels that way right now.
St. Trey is the same. I see a lot of artists that I know, and I don't even have to throw names. They're at each other's shows. They're watching. We're looking at each other going, what the fuck do we do? Like, our shit is dying. But I never was able to be here because I wasn't looked at. I was in the side. So coming back in a new life without my friend and rebuilding my whole fucking life, I kind of was like, wow. So I had to make a decision in a different way. I also wanted to take a more professional look at it. I wanted to set up for my future, like what I want to do in the future, because I could see myself being a part of a lot of different things, like even a company that runs weddings or, you know, because I'm not going to be like, what I do on stage, I can't do for another 15 years. Like, my body is already telling me you're old.
Yeah, feel you there.
So I feel like right now is the most important time for me to do what I got to do. So I'm calling, when you say, it's not about me. If people could say that to me, like, you got to take, I don't give a fuck about me. What I care about is the music that got me here and the people around me. I want to make sure that our scenes can grow, and we need to come together. We need to get a venue we rent, or we need to go places. We need to try to help each other. I'm going to be popping in shows, like one of you already know, but I didn't want to play. I fought for one of my friends to play. Like, I want the scene to thrive. Kazaroot, I want a goddamn full-length CD. That's what I want. How do I help that happen? Those guys,
they're in the studio. They're getting that fucking thing done.
They were just so gracious to me because they were just like me. And I found that if it
wasn't for that band,
at the end, I was looking at them as like, they're different and they're going to accept me. And I was like, oh, we just didn't know each other. We're the same. We just played different music.
Yeah.
So now when you say how to have scenes, it's like getting out of that element of like, this was wrong. Like, bad shit happens in a scene and ignorance happens, especially when you have young minds controlling it, or people that haven't. I believe all this was a learning lesson. And I believe that it also showed me standing at the end of it going, dude, if I wouldn't have had this, I would be dead. Like, so how do I save it? You know, like if I would step down and give my position to somebody else so they have a platform. Yeah. And that's I think is different for me.
And that's what I feel like I finally did, because with Metal in the Mountains, when I ended it, there was multiple issues, multiple reasons. Yeah. But, I mean, the only reason I keep, and I'm saying this to the listeners right now, the only reason that I continued Metal in the Mountains 1, I thought would be the only one. It wasn't even titled Metal in the Mountains 1. It was entitled Metal in the Mountains. Yes. I thought that would be it. 6 months later, all the bands on that flyer in there in the office that I showed you, all the bands on there were contacting Chop and then contacting me saying, when are we going to do it again?
That's kind of that.
But yeah, when it came to the end of Metal in the Mountains, I felt like I was doing so much bad business more than I was helping people that I decided just to flat out just walk away. I mean, I dealt with a lot of externals. My mom passed away. My dad had already been gone. I was going through a divorce. So when Metal in the Mountains 2 came along, Chop took it over. He asked me if he could put it together, and I was like, dude, you fucking run with it. I don't give a shit. I don't do whatever. And him and Greg Porter did most of the fucking banners and all the artwork for it and everything, and they came up with Metal of the Mountains, which to me felt like Chris is going through some shit. You all know Chris fucking started this. I didn't start it alone. Yeah. The bands that were involved with it, if it wasn't for Sacrifice the Gods, Arcane Horror, fucking Washco Lowlives, Spirit of Chaos, all these guys came together, and it was unreal to see 10 bands in one room, first off. I mean, it hadn't been done since the SMC days, and that was a good decade before this.
Mayhem's everything like that.
Yeah, that came from that, Metal in the Mountains, Mountain Mayhem. And to fast forward, I got pissed when Mountain Mayhem started because it was like literally like, I think the first one was just a couple of weeks after. But I don't know if that time frame is correct or not. Like I said, I'm not mad at anybody today. I don't give a fuck because I have a whole new outlook on life and the scene.
And for me, I came into, I even came into.
I just felt like
I came into that concert not knowing that complete history. You know what I mean? So
right.
Like, people like me were already shut from the beginning. I signed up.
Yeah.
It's like I got signed in and happened to realize that that this all came. But in the summary of all that, it was everybody in the scene and getting to this point and working with the people that were still tied to the scene and people right now. I want to say thank you to Kellerman and Rich and certain people like those guys because I wouldn't be continuing to do this. A lot of it also is the kids, the people that I see. I have little kids watching me and sending me videos, and that blows my mind. It also makes it important that I think of a future for those kids to be able to play music because I see your little girl running around with a guitar in her hand.
Yeah.
It's like, I want her to be able to rock out one day of all styles, of all genre. And I think that a lot of us are getting to that state where we see that.
Yeah.
And I think that's important because
the stigma on,
I don't see a lot of,
you got to be metal to play with us.
I don't see a lot of really young players like I used to.
A little bit, but 10 years ago it was horrible.
Even the scene right now, it's all 25 to 35, 45 years of age.
Yeah. But those are the people that were wanting to come to see our shows. Yeah. Like I look at it like this. I mean, I have an 18-year-old daughter that still to this day, and if Diana, you're listening, you know it's true, still to this day has a shirt from Sacrifice the Gods that had bubble gum burned into it by a dryer that my daughter that's upstairs, Sophia, would fit in right now. That's how old it is.
I watched my friend.
And I'm like, what the fuck? My kids grew up watching this.
I watched my friend's boy who walks around and acts just like me. It's the same thing, I wear a Calico System shirts that I have. I still wear it to this day. That all means so much to me. Right. And I feel like I want to be able to give that to somebody else. I want them to feel that. Like how I felt at May, every single person who was a part of that or seen that or that was there, I want, I told Rich, I want him to feel like that.
He needs to.
We need love in our scene. As cliche as it sounds, people are like, I gotta be hard. Every one of these metal singers that I know, they're like fucking grizzly bears, dude. They're loving, like Kellerman, he's just fucking huge.
Kellerman looks like he could kill you, but I call him Lurch, because that's badass. You rang, you know what I mean?
He would do anything for anybody, and he has done a lot for the metal scene, and he is...
Oh yeah, he's helped me multiple years making sure sound happened for Metal in the Mountains.
He's also at the stage now where he does, he's in a car with me, and he's like, I can't sing, but I'm like, he can sing, he just don't know. But he's like singing and getting in music, and everybody's working together. That's where I want it to go, and I reach out to every artist in the scene. I don't care if you don't like me.
You've reached out to me.
as far as an artist base, not the Baldys thing.
I offer every ounce of help that I can get, even if it's investing. I offer anytime. I do record some music, but my recording's a little different. But I do offer anything that I can to a scene. Let me in the doors too.
Yeah.
I'm screaming that to the guys way down south and the guys way up north. I'm not being offered a lot to play live, and that's where I really want to go, because I feel like when you say what can save a scene, you know, one thing that's always worked for me, and it could, I know I'm not rich or nothing, but passion.
Yeah.
When I play my passion,
Diversity.
It really helps. And
Diversity. If you have the passion for it, that comes with it. But the diversity, if you have no passion, then you can't be in a diverse system.
Yep.
If you have passion, amplify the fact that it needs to be diverse.
But I'm also old enough now to look at it and say that I have to, like, who cares who didn't agree, or who cares what happened?
Yeah.
Lunatic to fucking Fun Gone Wrong to the Calico System to Point of Violence to Joe Rick to Uncle Dave, you know, they all inspired me and they all helped me get here today, and they're all still in the scene. So the scene dying isn't correct to me, because I've never seen it with this fucking, with the venues. We do have a problem with the venues.
That's where I was going to interject for a second. Everybody that all of us that are in the scene that play music. Now, I am a 10-year veteran as far as the scene goes playing music. I was in Spirit of Chaos. I touched in a little bit on As He Second Fades, and I've hit certain bands after and before.
Which I watched.
But the scene to us as a musician, now you can interject if you feel this is wrong, but the scene to me is not whether there are bands out there playing everywhere. That's not the scene. The scene to me is the music scene. The fans that see your cross promotions with each other coming out to see you. Unity, not separation, touched on a fact with this video last week or this week.
I watched that whole thing from the beginning.
I watched about an hour of it. I didn't get to catch the whole thing, but he hit the main points of what I got to see. If nobody's coming to see you, that bar just wasted money to get you there. They're going to feel you're a bad investment. They're going to not book you.
Yeah.
The worst case scenario is they keep booking you, and then next thing you know, nobody's coming out to see you. That is not entirely the band's fault. Not at all, by no means. I would give 5% of that maybe to the bands, and that's a huge maybe, because in SOC, me and Chop, and then Derek later, all made sure it got promoted. Jeremy, he did what he could because he was working like a madman everywhere he could. Chop was working like a madman everywhere he could. Derek out at fucking Rip 1 doing his thing that he could as much as he could.
I work a lot.
We all do. Everybody in the scene. I think I'm the only one in the scene now that, and I'm not even really in the scene. I'm more promoting
What
the
bothers
scene.
me is I can't even like go to my own town and say, can I rent this building? Like the bar won't even let me in the door because I'm a rapper. You know, and I'm also.
I live in Mount Vernon. It's a Christian conservative
I don't even
scene.
want to do it for myself. I would like. I'm looking at shows like even places like I want to put Broken Circle somewhere. Like, dude, they're amazing. I want Skyroller to play here. That's it.
Right.
But I feel like
Bankers and churches kept us for decades from doing anything here.
Mm-hmm.
You're heavy metal. All of a sudden, you fucking eating Satan's ass crack or something
I
on the
remember
regular.
in my
you know?
early time being at a show at a community center in Salem and church groups rioting outside because they were letting a band called Point of Violence play.
Oh shit.
Um,
Lamenta told me one time that he watched a gunshot go off and everybody in the fucking parking lot went batshit.
but I also think I always want to stress that
So there is the whole thing of there's shows that nothing ever
I
happens.
also want to stress too,
and there's shows where stupidity happens.
Something that it really affects me, and I don't want to go detail because I don't want to give certain stress to or certain attention to certain people, so it continues. But we also have to consider our society's different. There's kids in schools getting shot.
Yes.
What is happening all over the world is really bad. You know, like you look at the people going into clubs and shooting people.
Oh.
It's harder for people to trust to be able to go out.
It started. I mean, it didn't really get recognized hardcore as far as shows go until Dimebag.
And not even and then
When the whole thing happened, Dimebag, it was like, okay, we got to secure the shit out of
then
this.
Las
I remember going to Pops to go see some little rinky-dink band. You're not getting searched after Dimebag. You couldn't go in a venue in Illinois, even in Sauget.
to a shooting in a country concert.
Mm-hmm.
I
talking about the Vegas thing?
I want to stress that yes, I understand that there are things that change, and we have to change that. And also, me and you, we had a little debate about live streaming and different things.
Yeah.
Live streaming also changed the country venues because people would consider home and watch it. But it also has a benefit because my friend who isn't here who had to be in the military and lives in a different state. He's able to watch our shows and love every minute of it.
Yeah.
He watches your shit every time he puts it on. He's waiting for this to come out.
We'll keep watching.
He is. I do know that we have that stress, but you can't just shut off because then they win. You also have to stand up and fight for what you believe in, and I am willing to stand up and fight. But I'm also saying to the people out there that are listening to me, there are certain people, and I don't mean this disrespectfully, but there are certain people that want to preach, and I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying there are certain people that preach. We need to do this to help us see, but they're not coming to my shows. They're not supporting me. They don't like my stuff. They don't share my stuff. Yeah. It goes both ways on a two-way street.
Bigotry rules of just about any genre you can think of. As far as music goes, I'm not talking about anything outside.
I'm just saying, Washco, I play with them. I love them. I listen to it. Fucking Sons of Cain, I have their CD. I listen to it. I enjoy it. I would rather listen to them than Slipknot. No disrespect to Slipknot. I know they're marketed and they're big, but I would rather fucking watch Abaddon because they haven't been signed and they're writing original music.
And even after they get signed, we know there's not going to be a group of people that are going to be assholes after later. I'm not calling Slipknot assholes. I'm saying that what happens is they get a taste. And all of a sudden, it's fuck where it came from. When Fug Gone Wrong got signed to Legend Stroke Records, they didn't lose their bullshit. Yeah. They didn't. I mean, things happen. Yeah. I get that. Shit hits the fan sometimes, and it had nothing to do with that band. It had to do with their damn management. But there are bands out there that haven't gotten signed from this area, and I got 60 of them on my website that any of them I would trade in a heartbeat to go see a nationalized act.
But I'm just saying, I watch.
You know,
the scene. I watch everybody's production. I pay attention to everybody, but I felt like for 10 years of my life in hip hop, where I was being myself and I wasn't like anybody else, that I wasn't shown the same respect. I wasn't allowed in these shows, and I feel like May 11th and those, yes, they weren't the biggest shows, but I feel they were really some good, successful shows for what's going on in our area, and I believe we can make more of those happen. I believe if we sit around and tell people that it's going to fall apart if we don't do this is also a wrong approach. I feel like hey, we need to do this to help this not happen. I'm a different breed, but I also am calling to guys like Norman Lucas. I'm listening to you, man. Yeah. But you have to listen to me, too.
I think when a venue closes, it's appropriate.
Yes.
More than any.
And
not when a band breaks up.
I also think it's
not when a band breaks up, because that's different kind of business.
You know, when you talked about the venues closing right after the metal shows, I think it was responsible for the venues, too, which I'm not calling any names out like Norman. I shook his hand. He seemed like a cool-ass human being, and I hope to work with him. But I just find that the dialect for me is, you don't know me until you've been in a room with me. Like, you feel completely different about me now that you know me. Also, when we talk about people staying at shows, you know some of the best bands I ever seen were the band that I was not there to see.
Exactly.
It was always a band
that's where I agreed with Norman the most.
This is a band that I have. What I mean? And when I watched Mayhem, after I played, I just was like, how are you going to top that? Like, oh my God. And then I was gracious enough to be able to stand on stage and be the one that announced those bands. And I was united by a scene. So now I can stop thinking that I got to be accepted. I can now start being like, I gotta do work. So right now, when you said the history, I am trying to get to where I approach it now with a better mind, and I have more control of what I was doing because I was not okay. I was fucking for a long time.
Nice pun.
So now with the help of Washco, Elias and Mark and Neil and fucking Joan and everybody, I was able to find myself again and joy. But I also want to tell everybody, it's not dead. It's fucking huge.
No, the scene as far as musicians goes is not dead.
And I have a lot of guys right now and girls and musicians that are working with me right now that nobody knows. I want to know that so nobody says I lied to them. There are a lot of people in the background that are talking to me and working with me. And I believe, yes, I am open for a show. But I also want to stress that for me, everybody has their own gimmick, their own thing. Yeah. I had to take care of some things in life, like vehicle issues and certain things, but I really want to be on shows that are very passionate. I don't want to do a lot of day festivals, but I would be a part of one. No hands down if it was a benefit. But right now, I really want to run in dark venues and play really hard. Right. I want to. And you saw how Abaddon and Faust played when they were with me.
Oh yeah.
We're passionate, so the whole time we're not. I don't want to say competitive because Jeremy's the type to sit down beside me like, you better get up there and destroy, boy, because I'm coming in after you. And that's the love we have. You know, I tell him, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna kill. And I'd never seen the look on his face at that time, like I see him on stage. To me, that's what I want to do, and I believe that will invoke some more activity in the scene. But do I know the true answer? No. I only know that I feel that I don't want to say anyone or leaders or but I'm going to use that. If we're all leaders in certain parts of the area, all the way up and down I-57, it's up to us to fucking put aside who's better, who gets, and interchange shows, bring talent back and forth.
Yes.
Like, I'm not calling out, but if Gray's Divide plays in the same place all month, they get burned out and they don't get the exposure. I want to see Gray's Divide at Mayhem. I want to see fucking Sons of Cain at Mayhem, you know? And I know that there are people who are listening that help set that up, but Syraxis, I want to see those people, but I want to be able to get in those areas too and play. But for me, I want, I'm also calling the scene, I'm challenging anybody. You guys, anybody who works with me, come to the studio with me for fucking 1 hour. And it will be a completely different world than you thought.
Another day of these strange hazes. My life gone and burning in the blazes. From visual disgraces as my heart races. My mind craves from the changing of your faces. And so many lives displaced in sin within those misplaced. Lost in their own bliss and their ignorance. And none of this bullshit has any kind of fucking tolerance. Continued conception, herbal practice disguised with massive distraction. In my mind over time, perfect attributes to be a muscle lyricist. Ripping line after line with the life that I chose to live in. Causing me to script it just like you'll never run another like me. Massive style variety coming about of me. Life decided my lyrical mentality. Hating my mind so lost in the time. Trying to find life before loss of the life inside. Nothing seems right with all these signs of you showing lies. Saying goodbye, my mind will never be fucking right. Blood in my eyes, just realize the pain I'm seeing in these real lies. If I could send you my thoughts, then you'd realize vision don't always be the mind right. Mind right. Don't always be the mind right. Mind right. Blood in my eyes, the blood in my eyes, the blood in my eyes. Just realize the pain I've seen in these real lies. If I could, I'd send you my thoughts, then you'd realize visions don't always reach your mind right. My mind's not right, my mind's not right. You're just in the future villain, always in a push straight killing on a constant spitting and spilling the most honest motherfucking thing to be written or scripted. Massive lyrical infusion, downpour of lyrical life and bomb and fluid, potential insanity, insane originality, straight from mentality, but crackers and shady. And no motherfucking disrespect to him, my friend. I'm as fucked up as you were back on your first few albums, lost in the sand. Cause I'm lost in delusions with thoughts and contusions, dysfunctions, vocal eruptions. Gonna be constructed, the most brutal thing to ever be fucking busted. Fuck Caucasian, I'm a goddamn menace, a phenomenal lyrical abrasion, metaphorical hysterical dictation, melodic mental mutilation of NC spraying, calculation of life coming out in a rhyme. Welcome to a Shipley ruckus annihilation. Blood in my eye, just realize the pain I've seen with these real lies. If I send you my thoughts, then you'd realize vision don't always be the mind right. Mind right. Mind right. Blood in my eyes, blood in my eyes, the blood in my eyes, just realize the pain. I send you my thoughts and you'd realize vision don't always be the mind right. Blood in my eyes, just realize the pain I feel deep inside. Blood in my eyes, just realize the pain I've seen with these real lies. Blood in my eyes, just realize the pain I feel deep inside. Blood in my eyes, just realize pain
because I love music and I want to make it happen. And right now we are in the digital age. I do a lot of work where I digitally build stuff and then I come out.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I also, I have a friend that raps that I work with. I watch his releases.
Yeah.
So when he releases, I don't release anything.
That's common courtesy.
So I let his track, plus I want his track to get the most exposure. And then I come at the very end and be like, you've been too quiet, buddy.
Yeah.
You know, even that, Abaddon, dude, I had...
There's a lot of that isn't paid attention to.
I had Murder Machine, Sons of Cain, Abaddon, Faust's material popping up, and I'm like, oh my God, hold on. I'm still trying to get over Annihilate the Hero Turbulence, you know? I praise the vibe. I'm also bitching, like, there's certain people in the scene, like, that I need t-shirts. I don't have a t-shirt because I'm a big t-shirt. You're like, jealous ass.
There's like 30 shirts around him right now.
It's beautiful, man. But I'm glad to see you back, but I'm just saying, we cannot focus on what went wrong. We have to focus on what we have to do.
Well, at a point we kind of do because
you learn.
Yeah, you don't pay attention to your history.
But I think people
people like you that have been in the scene for a long time.
But I'm saying there's a lot of
these
people,
newcomers that are coming in right now.
There's a lot of people that are still hung up on that. You know, and
there will be. But if they're so blind that all they're going to do is hate on what happened and not see what is happening, they're never going to see the end of the road.
When I say outside investments, you know, like if you know somebody, like I'm just calling everyone, even you, if you know somebody that owns a bar that's just like in the middle of nowhere, walk up to them and say, hey, can I run a show in here? You call me and I will help. I will help run that show even if I'm not even there. Right now, I'm willing to help with that because I want our scene to grow. I want it to be big because if you think about Des Moines, Iowa, and Peoria, Illinois, Slipknot and Mudvayne are the biggest things from our area that probably, dude, Annihilate the Hero should be all over the place.
Oh, you ain't fucking lying.
Also,
I heard their first album and call me a bigot, call me a prude, but I heard their first album, I heard their second album. I don't remember their third until after I heard Oracle. I heard Oracle and they did their first concept album that I actually fell in love with. And I mean, a lot of people gave them shit because they got clean singing in there from Thomas and everything. And I was just like, how are you going to give this guy shit? I mean, he screams backwards in some of his shit.
Yeah, like me. He put me in the
I've never heard anything like that in my life. And it was totally mind-blowing to watch a three-piece. Now, some of us define three-piece differently. Some people think a three-piece is a singer and the three instruments.
One of my favorite bands is Local Waves.
There you go.
They're two-piece.
Yeah.
Because the guitar player has bass pickups and guitar, so you can play bass and guitar.
Yeah. But to hear a three-piece do that and watch them play it live with all the backing vocals, all the backup music that's going on, and Thomas is running all that off his pedal, blew my fucking mind.
So I'm saying, even with that, whatever, I have learned to be myself, run really hard, and don't, like, people are arguing, you work, because they will fall behind and you will surpass them.
Yep.
And if people tell you you can't do something and you believe you can do it, because I am pure example of that with May 11th and May 25th. That people that believed in me and my belief in myself and my own, that I could do that. But I wouldn't have been able to do it without those people. So that's why I'm saying, like, even that, looking at the whole scene, I see bands like fucking Norman Lucas to tattoo Grace and Vinyl on his fucking skin. That's awesome.
Right.
How can we need to get them here. You know,
yeah,
like you, like I am not gonna stop saying it, even if, you know, if I'm not done, I better see an SIMM concert in the future. And it's not that hard to see that happen. I also believe, you know, like Nil is like, he runs shows in the park with different kinds of bands and all kinds.
Right.
He is also dedicating to children in schools. Or like,
oh yes.
Chief has a program that he's trying to get off the ground.
We've been talking a lot about that.
I think that these are, you're hearing this from me. I'm paying attention. Like, these are Norman Lucas. My hat is off to you.
Yeah,
or even him. I feel like that video to me was him saying, I don't care if I made a wrong decision. I don't care if I'm a different person now. This shit means everything to me.
Yes.
And it spoke volumes to me.
Yeah.
It also speaks volumes to him see me and shake my hand. So now is the perfect time for me to say, all right, how do we put it together and how do we make everybody work together and how do we take these people to Murder Machine needs a new backup guitar player. Right now, they're looking for something. So if you're out there and you're a guitar player and you like Murder Machine, go try it out for them because I don't.
That's what the sim based on.
I don't want.
Literally, the sim was based on the fact that, look, my band, Spirit of Chaos, played a show. You probably read this. For the listeners that don't know this, I'm going to go ahead and go there. Sorry, Chop. Sorry, Derek. Sorry, Squirrel. But I'm going to go there for just a brief second in my time frame.
It's all love.
Right? It's all love. The Sim wouldn't have been born if a bar in Johnston City, I believe, wouldn't have fucked us over. They fixed a Battle of the Bands. And that does happen. There are venues in St. Louis. I'm going to not name names, but there's venues in St. Louis.
Norman touched on Battle of the
Bands. That will fuck you on a fucking Battle of the Bands. It's bullshit. They already know who they want to win. They want to make money until they already picked a winner and blah, blah, blah. Whatever their fucking motive is, that's the way it rolls. But the Sim wouldn't have been created without that fuck up. We were entitled to a $1,500 purse. We brought 80% of the fucking people there, our own vehicles, promoted the hell out of it, however we needed to, whether it was me or anybody else in the band or the Sim page. Actually, this is the basis to the Sim page, so this was prior to the collective that I had in mind. I took my cue from the SIMC. The SIMC cue that I took was bands coming together to collide on one cause.
Yeah.
That was the main purpose behind the SIMC. They took their financial that they could put together, $30, $20, whatever everybody could throw together. Now, mind you, you got 7 bands, 5 bands, 7 bands got 5 members. $20 a head is going to get a venue bought for the night. It's different now.
We did that another time too. We'd all go together and put, like, a beach band put $25-$50 in and get a venue, but those are hard to find anymore.
Yeah, you can't find them anymore. It's pretty much a diamond in the rough because everything's closed up. So now, like, to back up a little bit, we fucking play this show, get the largest reaction that I've ever heard playing a show to this day, as far as being behind, on stage with a guitar in my hand. And, like, that scream you get where your ear hurts.
Yeah.
And, I mean, fuck, we even did a video called Lady S that is literally shot at that fucking show. And we literally lost to a cover band.
I'm just saying, from my perspective, I've been watching this whole thing, and not until the last 3 years of my life was I let in right, and I was let in, and I want to be humble, but I also want to be like, fuck you, dude. I've been trying.
I'm here now, motherfucker.
It's now, so I don't think it's dead. I think it needs to come together. I also call to any motherfucker in our scene. If you have an idea how to help it. If you have an idea you want to try, if you want to invest in, get a hold of me, talk to me, call Baldy,
any of us,
call Scoob, call any person, and somebody will put you into the place. And now I can say it, it's like, now I can safely say that it's not one genre anymore. Everybody, people also like that, like, Uncle Dave and them going into Broken Circle. That was a really different genre, and it was great because it was everybody coming together to make music happen. It was beautiful. So I'm saying, really, I'm just calling to everybody. How can I get in the scenes? How can everybody come together? We need a main piece where we can all come together to work together. To, like, somehow we can all communicate on all levels, that we can help each other, like interchange shows, putting people in different places, collaborations. Because some of the best songs I've seen in this area are like Stigma, Stigma, Cosmo.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's dream-worthy. I don't think that it's not. I want to say this over everybody else. I don't think it's impossible. I think you start to think that it's over. It's over. Yeah. Like I don't accept it. I do not. It's like when Keanu Reeves meets the architect and he says, "I don't agree with that. I refuse to accept it.
Right.
I refuse to accept it because I believe love and heart and realness will take you past bullshit in the world. Right. And music that's real, will take you." Part. But it's even that people who say that bands suck and they sold out, they're making money and touring. I'm not. So how can I say that they're wrong for doing that?
I don't believe they've sold out. I believe they finally fucking wised up and figured out how to make it a business because it is a fun job.
I also think
it is a job, but it is a fun job.
I would like to somehow put it together where, core bands, and they don't have to play every show, but we could interchange that. But we sit around and everybody throw ideas out at venues. And we go out in a small circle, we go out and we play.
Micro tour.
And then we go out again in the bigger time. And that way bands can drop off if they need to rest, if they don't have the money. Yep. And we have kind of like if you're playing 5-on-5, you have a 6-man and 7-man for trade-in.
You got your starters, you got your beef squad.
And then I think that shows also lack because artists are not, and I know that there's a part of you that wants success for what you do, and that But you also have to push the individuals that if a scene thrives, you can thrive. If I thrive, a scene can thrive. That's how I look at it. Like, fucking Grace and Vibe, they just put out a CD. We should have CD releases like in all of the big places that we do.
Yeah,
they should be
it should be a micro tour where
Yeah,
you're
okay.
playing like back-to-back weekends,
Let me
3
ask you a
weekends in a
question.
row with their CD being pushed.
I've been waiting fucking 10 years of my life to ask you this fucking question. Why does Middle of the Mountains only have to be a thing here? Why can't there be like
Because the
not
nickname
even that,
behind
even
it.
No, I'm saying even the name runs it. Why are they not doing a seasonal thing? Like Mayhem is in Memorial Weekend.
Yeah,
There
we
should
did ours
be
the first Saturday of
There
August.
should be another kind of festival or something like that
Yep.
around Halloween or around this time.
We tried to do a show called Zombie Fest. That was Halloween. That was on Halloween weekend, and it was called Zombie Fest.
Yeah, give me a fucking.
I fucked that one up. That was on me. And Annihilate the Hero can elaborate that one. But
No, I'm just
that
saying.
one was on me.
You know what I mean? Like if you have a town and they have a big show, that show shouldn't just be one show a year. That's
No.
too hard to do and too hard to keep people.
Yes.
I believe that there needs to be Facebook. If you're not consistently active every day,
Yep.
you don't really make ground. You
No,
have, and it's
especially as
almost,
an artist.
It's almost annoying as an artist because you have to be on that bitch all the time for it
Yep.
to be beneficial. Now, technology is great because I was able to reach people in different states and different countries with my music. That's completely different now.
Yeah.
But to say that our scene's dead when we have all of these tools, I think is also a false thought. I think that we have to learn, we have to adapt. So I'm saying, really, I'm just calling to everybody. How can I get into scenes? How can everybody come together? We need a main piece where we can all come together to work together. To like somehow we can all communicate on all levels. That we can help each other, like interchange shows, putting people in different places, collaborations. Because some of the best songs I've seen in this area are like Skybar, Stigma, Cosmic.
Yeah.
Holy shit. That's dream work. I don't think that it's not. I want to say this over everybody else. I don't think it's impossible. I think
By a
if you
long
start to
shot,
think
no.
that it's over, it's over.
Yeah.
Like I don't accept it. I do not.
Right.
It's like when Keanu Reeves meets the architect and he says, "I don't agree with that. I refuse to accept it."
Right.
I refuse to accept it because I believe love and heart and realness will take you past most shit in the world.
Right.
And music that's real, but will take you apart. But it's even that people who say that bands suck and they sold out, they're making money and touring.
Yep.
I'm not. So how can I say that they're wrong for me?
I don't believe they've sold out. I believe they finally fucking wised up and figured out how to make it a business because it is a fun job.
I also think
It is
that
a job, but it is a fun job.
I would like to somehow put it together where we're bands and they don't have to play every show, but we can interchange that. But we pick them, we just sit around and everybody throw ideas out at like venues. And we go out in a small circle, we go out and we play.
Micro tour.
And then we go out again in the bigger time. And that way bands can drop off if they need to rest, if they don't have the money.
Yep.
And we have kind of like if you're playing 5-on-5, you have a 6-man and 7-man for training.
You get your starters, you got your beats.
And then I think this shows also lack because artists are not, and I know that there's a part of you that wants success for what you do and that. But you also have to push the individuals that if a scene thrives, you can thrive. If I thrive, a scene can thrive. That's how I look at it. Like fucking Grace and Vibe, they just put out a CD. We should have CD releases like in all the big places that we do.
Yeah,
They should be able to,
it should be a micro tour where
Yeah,
you're
okay.
playing like back-to-back weekends,
Let me
3
ask you a
weekends in a
question.
row with their CD being pushed.
I've been waiting fucking 10 years of my life to ask you this fucking question. Why does Middle of the Mountains only have to be a thing here? Why can't there be like
Because the
not
nickname
even that.
behind
Even
it.
no, I'm saying even the name runs it. Why are they not doing a seasonal thing?
What
Like
do you mean?
Mayhem is in Memorial Weekend.
Yeah,
There
we
should
did ours
be
the first Saturday of
There
August.
should be another kind of festival or something like that
Yeah.
around Halloween or around this time.
We tried to do a show called Zombie Fest. That was Halloween. That was on Halloween weekend, and it was called Zombie Fest.
Yeah, give me a fucking.
I fucked that
Halloween
one up. That was on me. And Annihilate the Hero can elaborate that one. But
No, I'm
that
just saying.
one was on me.
You know what I mean? Like if you have a town and they have a big show, that show shouldn't just be one show a year. That's
No.
too hard to do and too hard to keep people.
Yes.
I believe that there needs to be Facebook. If you're not consistently active every day,
Yep.
you don't really make ground. You
No,
have, and
especially as an artist.
It's almost annoying as an artist because you have to be on that bitch all the time for it
Yep.
to be beneficial. Now, technology is great because I was able to reach people in different states and different countries with my music. That's completely different now.
Yeah.
But to say that our scene's dead when we have all these tools, I think is also a false thought. I think that we have to learn, we have to adapt.
Yeah, we have to change.
You know, when we say like building a venue, yes, I would love to go in Mount Vernon and build a venue, and I think it could be successful if we had Abaddon selling beer and homebrew stuff, you know, that we could sell. But there's all these legalities. I also think that it's important that we work together in show trades. You know, like, okay, as a musician, if I have an artist that comes in and works, I have a system called, and it comes from the hip-hop world, trap trade. If you're a rapper and you come in to work with me, and you do a song with me, and I put you on a verse, or you do a hook or whatever, then you put me on something with you.
Yes.
Or I record you with me and record you a separate song.
Yes.
So we track trade. We both win out of the thing.
It's a favor for a favor.
I believe that we forgot that in this. And I believe that started to come back.
I don't think this part of the scene, to me, what's going on right now is almost like SIMC 2.5.
Yeah.
So a lot of them remember what they were doing, but they have no insight on the backup, what went on behind the scenes to make it happen.
It's like a picture of a mountain above water. You know, all you see is the beauty above it. You don't see all the work and everything behind it.
Yep.
May 11th, you were able to see what
Right.
You were able to see that whole thing. I think exposure is very important.
Oh, it's the key.
So I also think
key. That's the reason why I was going to literally when I went to go shoot these videos for all these bands. The reason I did is because I knew they were not getting people up front. So for me, we hit, like you had spoke about earlier, we had this debate off the record. We're going to go ahead and push it out here, but the debate is: do I, Chris, think that I am hurting or benefiting by going to see them live and then recording them live for a social media platform such as Facebook? I do, as long as they are a struggling band. And I don't mean that you've been out for a year and nobody came to one show.
Yeah.
What I mean is you've been out a couple of months, or you're starting to catch the ears, because we didn't have a clue. Like when I was with SOC, we were running with the guys south of here. Carbondale, Heron, Johnston City, Buckcessor. We had no clue that there was such a heavy scene in Salem.
What happened to Carbondale house party shows, man?
They're still around.
Put me on one of them
You still got the taco
motherfuckers.
truck. You still got the
one of those
fucking
motherfuckers.
You still got fucking Lost Cross House. You still got all that going on down there. I mean, they've changed hands a few times, but they're still rolling.
Yeah,
I wish we had a place like that here in
I do
Melbourne,
too.
because I'm sick of dealing with bar politics. Because the bar politics are like right now, there's only one place in Mount Vernon that will book a metal show, and only once a
It
year.
does suck, but I don't
there's
want to.
4 other places that you could play music in, but they won't house
I don't
to our
want to
genres.
bash the bars because they are the only thing we have left.
No, I'm not bashing bars.
No,
I'm just
I'm
saying
saying-
open your doors a little more.
Yeah,
Have some diversity yourself. You want to make money. We want to make money for you.
Like I said, I don't know how to fix it. All I know is that we have to somehow band together, and we all have to live.
I think banding together is going to require a lot of different elements from a lot of different stories that are going to require a little bit of not name dropping, but situation placement. This, like, there was a bar in Kell. It's been around. You know who I'm talking about. I'm not going to name names. There was a bar in Kell, and I know of a few bands, and probably yourself, that got booked there. All of a sudden, they're like, no, we just want cover bands now because that's a guarantee. There's going to be people indoors, there's going to be people drinking. They want asses in seats, beer down throats. They don't care. That's the biggest problem I'm seeing around here. The bar owners don't care what your music is. If it don't sell, you're out the door in 2 weeks. If you book 2 weeks, that's shitty on them. And I don't respect bars that are going to give that kind of business
So
ethic.
for the bars out there that are allowing that to happen, you are a bigger purpose than you understand.
Yeah.
That is really, what is it, American Record Store?
Yeah, America's Groove.
Yeah, they're
huge.
I haven't been able to play there, but I heard really good things about it.
Dude, you walk into the mall and there's tractors and shit everywhere. There's no storefronts. And then there's this record store that looks like Main Street in Mount Vernon times 100 on steroids. And then they got a stage in the back with fucking sofas and shit. Right up there. Like, literally, there wouldn't be enough room for this couch
So I
to
think
be
when you
between
say-
the stage and the thing there. And that's great because it gives it vulnerability. You're in that artist's face. You're forced to be right up there and enjoy.
So me standing here fighting today is like this sample that I played at Mayhem, and it was Kellerman yelling at me. He's like, "You bridged the gap, brother," and that's where I stand.
think
how do I
right.
how do I bridge the gap? How do I put it? Like I can't get into St. Louis. I can't get into those places. Like
Right.
I'm not looked at, and there are people like Denny. Thank you, Denny Blackwell. Thank you so much, because he's one of those people that are fighting for me to
Right.
give me that ability to look at a better way, and I can't thank those people enough. I don't know. I don't know where this goes, but I know that it could be a lot better than it is because the shows that I've seen in the last 10 shows I've seen were amazing. They're all really, really good.
The thing I've noticed is, I don't mean to cut you off, but the thing I've noticed is a lot of bands around here are starting to try to book local, and no disrespect on the STL, but it's fucking tapped.
I read an article. I read
there.
an article from a guy from St. Louis where he's talking about why he didn't understand why bands fought so hard to get into St. Louis with this
Exposure.
shit. Yeah, but
They all of them believe exposure is key, which it is. But when you play the same set 12 times at the same place 8 times, nobody wants to watch that. You have to change what you're doing.
And that's what bothers me. Like, look at St.
It's
Louis.
a combination.
St. Louis is like, there's not a shitload of places to play, but they have really good places to play, food bars and stuff. But they have like bands from all over the place at the same time the locals are playing, and almost the locals are being pushed aside. Like now, it's like you have to be, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It's a band like Abaddon has to have a different standard just because of the major touring act, and they're not given.
Yeah.
And then you have and then the pay to play. That's something I wish would go away.
Oh, I wish it died.
Because I watch bands who and I'm not disrespecting anybody, but I watch bands who have a lot of money come in and buy the tickets so they get the better spot.
They get right behind the headliner.
And I understand.
I've watched that happen with Cause of Ruin. Actually,
I guess I understand that when you're trying.
I watched it happen with SOC. We literally bought the tickets out so we could get a better fucking
slot.
slot.
Me, I opened a complete big festival. And I didn't care about what spot I was in. I played that. I would play the same. You book me, I would play the same as I was playing if I was playing less. Because I also learned where I was successful in the rap world at the very end that being the headliner is not fun.
Hell no.
Because everybody leaves halfway because they want to get out, they want to get to traffic, they want to get away from the cops. But I also want to.
Not only that, being someone that likes to enjoy human interaction, meaning AKA party, whatever your crutch is. I'm not advocating drug use, but I like to smoke pot and I like to drink alcohol, and I don't like going on last because that means I got to stay sober the whole damn night and not loosen up and enjoy myself. I'm not saying that there's people out there that shouldn't do that. I learned moderation is key a few times in my life by overdoing it.
I just hope this podcast goes to many ears in our scene, and I just want to say I love all of them. All their music inspires me. I watch all of it. My day is getting up. I work a normal job and I have that. But my day is getting up and I listen to local music, and I listen like, oh, that's coming out, or Ross has got a solo project and I'm listening to that and I'm like, holy fuck. And it's like other people's fans aren't branching out to listen to others' music that's with them. And what makes me like, when I listened to Deftones the first time, I knew who Korn and I knew who Limp Bizkit was.
Right.
Because they were buddy bands.
Yeah.
I don't see that as much now.
No.
But I seen it more at Mayhem and 11th. I seen like when I was standing in fucking lead singer or Stradler standing in around me, I'm like, what the fuck? Because that had never happened.
Right.
I see some bands in the scene that are doing some really big moves, recording records, getting new management. There are things that I feel are very important, and I want everyone to stress in the scene that I will promote your product. I will be there for you. I will watch every concert. I work. Okay, I'll say this now. Some people who don't see, if you schedule a show, what bothers me, I have friends who schedule shows. And they know my schedule. And they invite me to a show when I have to be at work. Well, I can't miss days of work because it pays for me to do what I do. I do everything myself. I work Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, Sunday, every day. And Wednesdays and Saturdays, I'm in the studio working and making music, going to podcasts. My schedule is set, so I can't go to a show if you have a show on Friday. I wish I could. But if you give me enough time in advance, I request it off.
Right.
I can't request all the time, but I'm willing to do that. I also feel like, what date is the JJ show?
27th July.
Robin Kern, Sons of Cain, Saraxis, fucking. Oh my God, dude. Cause of Ruin, Jesus, that show. Carnival. That show will be amazing.
Yeah.
I was trying to be a surprise, but I don't have a choice in that. Like I'll be there. But I wanted to sit back and enjoy the music too.
Yeah.
You talk about, well, what's the future of me? Brother, I ran hard. You Hulk Hogan? Brother. I ran hard in the past 4 years of my life, and I probably almost didn't make that. I had to start like eating right, going to a gym, slow down smoking. I still smoke, but I had to slow down. I had to start taking care of myself. That was a different change too. I'm also
And
inspired
a fun one.
motherfucking Jeremy Bullock on his Snapchat fucking working out. I'm like, God.
Oh, I know. I'm so sick of that.
No,
No, it makes me feel fat. I sent him a post on his, one of his videos. If you're listening, sorry, brother, but he posted a video of, I think it was like walking with those fucking, what are they called, kettlebells?
Yeah.
He was walking with him or something like that. And I don't know what he posted, but I posted afterwards Homer Simpson sitting in a chair, and the only workout he was doing was shoving his face full of food. Because I look like the human version with a beard of Homer Simpson.
He motivates me. He motivates me when I see that he works no matter what. He works a real hard job.
Yes, he does.
He works his fucking ass up.
I've known him for a better part of a decade, and prior to that, when he was a kid, he didn't know I knew him.
You know, and I think
Grew up with his whole family.
I want to share this moment because it was a great moment, and where I think that we both realized that we were the same people that we were. You know, where he had picked me up to go to a show, and on the way we started smelling something. I'm like, it smells like break. And he's like, yeah, I think it does. And we went through this whole thing. I stood in his yard changing his brake caliper. This guy was like, I'll be outside the interstate and I'll work on a vehicle, you know, if I have to.
Right.
But I'm shouting out, like, I've never been able to play with Grades Dubai.
Right.
I want that to happen. I didn't get to play if I'm gone wrong.
Right.
I want that to happen.
Well, I think you might get your wish on that one because I think they're about to rehash an old demon.
I haven't got to play with Syraxis. Kyle Bissell, me and him have a lot of good conversations as of late. He's a great human being, and I definitely hope to work with him. TJ, the lead singer, the original lead singer of Lights of Arcadia, I've been talking to him a lot. Like, dude, that dude is so fucking cool. I'm about to work with him. I have a lot of things in the future that I'm working on, but I'm also looking at our scene, bro, and thinking, I don't know how to be a leader because I'm not a leader. I'm just like a really expressional person, and I promise when I'm playing, that's who I am. Right. But I don't. Mine's different because I'm not a band. I don't have ultimate members. I don't have a team. I make all the decisions. I get to pick. Yeah. Like, it affects me if I make the decision.
5 years. That's a long fucking time. This is what it's become. I don't even think you fucking understand. The universe is killing me. I don't even get it. Just make sure. The end. It's the truth. And make sure it's fucking real. Because I don't know what else to fucking say. Do you not understand?
I can't ignore this. It's so fucking endless. All the torment. It's so senseless and fucking tasteless. Lost out my mind, trying to zip through all this fucked up time. You're so faceless. The endless torment built up over time. For days and weeks I've been lost inside this age, trying to understand any of your life craze. How can everything I wanted crumble up in seconds? I want to love lost, it's so disgusting. Not a single part of this makes any fucking goddamn sense. You once cared so much now that I don't even fucking exist. Lost inside the mind, the time pointless. Are these ends expressed truths and reality? Please don't tell me you're lost in your own infamy. All that I've given you know I was a realist. Sucked over a life and became so heartless. Lost in your own until we find it in yourself to do the fucking right thing. Cause no matter the pain, taken or given, the facts on the ones are last forever and unending. I can't ignore this. It's so fucking endless. All the torment. It's so senseless and fucking tasteless. Lost out my mind, trying to zip through all this fucked up time. You're so faceless. The endless torment built up over time.
Time lapse, exposed to flaws. Think I've been here before. One collapse on the floor, just another soul. One more scar from our war. Keep pushing forward to better days. I feel the need to survive. I deserve to arrive at the destination where I'm past this confusion over your delusion, your weak conclusion. Spreading your pollution is the only solution. Is to expose your flaws, never saw them claws. You drag deep into me. Time lapse, I'm fucked in the head because of all the shit you said, and I don't think I can make it one more moment without you.
So I'm a little easier and a little different to work with, but I just don't feel like I was given a lot of opportunities until now. I don't feel like they're like, oh shit, he really is good. So like, or oh shit, like I didn't think it was that. Like even I've had people even now they're like, I don't like what you do, I don't care, but you're really badass at what you do, and you bring crowds in, and you really connect with people. Yeah. I know that my mission in the last 3 or 4 years of playing, that my live experience is probably the most, like I could sell my music, I could play it, I could show it, but people get the best reaction from playing live. Just for me, everyone's different. So I really want to press that envelope. So if you're out there listening, Grace Divide, anybody, put me on a fucking show. I promise that you won't be. But right now, my job is I want to press like fill the screen, say lost a venue. That sucks. I want like how do we help that? How do we what can we do to help that, Mike?
We have to replace it one way, how.
For all the bands out there that are playing shows, put them on a show. Yeah. Put those members.
That was the original basis from the Sim. If you say you booked a show and you had 3 bands on the original card, a month in, you got another month to go before the show happens, that band ends up with a work issue. Can't make it. Transportation broke down. Can't make it. Hit the Sim page. So what the Sim page was designed for.
Motherfucking Abaddon. They need to play everywhere. Like that, dude, that's a fucking like. I'm a man. I just got done watching Murder Machine. Murder Machine. I'm sitting there talking to Josh McCline and the lead singer, and Abaddon starts playing, and they all go, "Holy fuck, were we that loud?" The last time they played, they blew the beat up in the first fucking song. For all those people out there that are doing shows, Abaddon needs exposure. Put them on shows. They will fucking destroy, dude. Yeah. I'd like to see a return of Washko. Man, was not enough for me, bro. No. But I know they all have different projects and everything.
Yeah, they're very, very stretched.
Mark, I miss you, brother. Like,
same here.
Get a hold of me. Like, I went to the studio and hung out with him after Man, but we're supposed to get together sometime. But dude, he was such a force in the scene too. I miss him. Dude, get back. Like, where are you at? There are a lot of people in our scene that are doing projects. Buy each other's CDs, you know? Yeah. I
not only buy it, make sure you help share. Mm-hmm. It's a viral world out there. Make sure you get their albums out to whoever you think might love them. I don't care if you put it up every day for a week. Do it.
Murder Machine, I watched them share all kinds of people's stuff. Yeah. Like, they're very active in that, and they support a lot of other people's stuff.
They got good promotion.
Yeah, their Voodoo team is really, really cool. Yeah. But like, you know, they're working their asses off, and I see that. And Abaddon, they're a force coming, you know. Faust, there's some things coming to them, but I'm not allowed to announce them. Rich is a good friend of mine. I love him to death. He's like a brother. He saved my life, and he deserves to. You know, when I played with Abaddon and Faust, I was like, holy fuck, what the fuck? Like, those bands are both so amazing. They deserve, like, all those, like, unity not separated. As giants reach, Abaddon and Faust, dude. Fucking pay attention to them. Yeah. Put them on shows with you. I want to see Abaddon and Murder Machine together on a show again. Maybe even 2 Grace Divide in that lineup. Jesus. Oh, that's coming from a guy that has all, like, I rap and I do different things, but you saw me at Mayhem. I was in the front fucking row headbanging with you.
With me, yeah.
And I love that music.
I've hurt for a week after that fucking show. My hip has not been right since that show because I stomped on that damn deck.
I requested the day off and spent it sitting in a room with Kellerman and Jeremy.
Oh God, I couldn't.
Kellerman's fucking. That's the greatest thing.
I literally sat next to my toilet for like. I woke up the next morning. I say morning. It was more like afternoon. It was like 1:30, and I'm literally next to my toilet, sitting on the tub like. This is gonna hurt. And I never puked, but I was thinking it was coming, man. I was like, oh, there's a lot of Chinese food that's in my belly right now.
I want to thank so many people. Chop, he pushed for me to host that. He didn't have to. He did. I know that he's probably listening or not, but I thank you. Washko, I remember that man. Steve all. Thank you. Oh, yeah. Point of violence.
It's not, just to interject, it's not Steve-O like the most active drummer in this fucking scene. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Steve-O, I have, dude, okay, like.
I have never seen anybody be like the whole car.
That is, I find myself at every show with him at the end of the show at Denny's or something. Like, he's the most, like, I went one show, I didn't have cigarettes, he bought me cigarettes because we couldn't leave. At the very next show, I did the same thing for him.
Right.
Like, he's the most down to earth, and he actually would play drums with me. I played in a room with him in a jam session.
If he doesn't sleep with a kid,
But I was
on
playing
a
a
kid.
guitar, and he was blast beating with me. And Kellerman's like, he is amazing. He's a very talented, and he's an amazing human being.
Oh,
That-
yes.
it's
Oh, yes.
That's the one thing about this is when they say the scenes that I disagree because everyone, there's so many mothers. Like Norman Lucas, I don't have to know him to see how important he is to the scene.
Oh, yeah.
And all the people that are tied to him, and see him in the front row go nuts during the Crazy Vibe. He's tattooed Crazy Vibe. I'm about to have Uncle Dave tattooed my goddamn.
There you go.
But the scenes have never collided like this, but that tells me something. That tells me that all the scenes are struggling, and we're now going, hey, I need help too. And my door's fucking open, wide open. Even singers who lost bands or whatever, I contact them and say, my door's wide fucking open if you want to do something. Like, you're not done. Like, you can't fucking, so all you motherfuckers out there that said, Chipley, you can't be done, be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
Because it was different. This was a huge wake-up call. So when you ask the history, I can do a lot of things, but at this point, now that Toot's gone and everything, this was huge. This was a kick to my fucking face and my soul. I did not realize it went that far, to families, to their children, to members that are like emotional, and to people telling me that like you gotta go do this, you're a leader. I'm like, I'm just this normal guy that went through a bunch of hell that loves music, and I just want to make it able for all of us to do that. But there are always going to be haters. There's always going to be people. And people are on the social media today are so hateful. And that comes with nature. You've got to look past that. It's like, yeah, there is a lot of shit on the internet and stuff, but there's still a lot of fun, good stuff. We talked about earlier, watching these dumb videos.
Yeah.
That's my life. I watch this shit every day.
Same here.
Kazaruda, they did a video where they smashed a guitar with it. It's one of my favorite videos.
Yeah.
You were showing some videos the other day of some fucking crazy shit.
Right.
And then Porter was sharing videos in his house. Like, I didn't get to be a part of that.
Right.
And yeah, I heard a lot because I felt like I deserved it just as much. And I got to where I started to believe that. And then Kellerman's like, you fucking deserve this. And then it changed me to where now it's humbling. It's where I'm thankful to be here, and I want to help our scene. So I felt like I also wanted to make sure that this interview was also like to tell everybody, every one of you motherfuckers, this isn't about money to me. It isn't about all this other fucking bullshit. It's about making music and making people be able to play. I want to watch Crazy Divide tour Ozfest. I want to watch fucking Kellerman on stage, like a stage like that, dude, going insane.
Right.
Even if I'm not there. So I want to say to everyone, I didn't do this without you, and I want to bring us all together, but you gotta let me in too. You gotta let me in, and if you don't know me, you can ask you. I'm not the same monster in front of me.
No.
And when you're looking at me in front of me and I'm in full gear and I'm fucking, that's real me. If I ever do business, I would like to be in full gear. Like if I ever met Tech 9, I want to be in full makeup.
There you go.
And I'm calling him out because I would love to work with him. My thing is I don't have a standard, and I don't have metal bands have a metal standard that I don't have that. I can do whatever I want. I can play any type of music. I can play in a band, which may happen in the future one day. But my point is I'm calling out to all of you. Like, if we don't do something, it will fall apart.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like there's enough people talking about it. But Norman, I heard you.
I heard him too.
Scoot. Like, I love that guy. He could be crazy as fuck, but he gave me a shot that no one else did.
Right.
And it's funny for me to send an interview of Scoop interviewing me to you. Those pieces I understand are important.
Yeah.
But I also feel it's important to lay down the legacy of what's in front of us and what's behind us.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that there's a huge future. Shows can happen. We just need to find venues. If you're out there and you know land, you know people, you know a bar owner, let us get in a show. I guarantee you we'll make money. Because if you put Abaddon on a show, that shit will be packed.
Oh, yeah.
If you put Washco on something, people will drive to see those bands.
The key to it is not just putting them on a show. It's making sure that we spoke earlier about this fact that what I believe is the biggest key to making sure that you get people there is making sure you cross-pollinate, promote your own show. Hold the venue accountable to fucking promote your show X amount of times within a certain amount of mandate. If you've got a show coming out in 6 weeks and the only thing they ever promoted was one time, and that was just so they could put the event up on their Facebook, and they never touched it again, there's part of your problem. Everybody has to work together. The venue holder, the promoter, the bands, any fan that's hardcore. Everybody's got their fan base that is literally their fan page.
Insane.
Yeah, it gets nuts. I've been part of it as well. I mean, we never got as thick as what most of these other bands did, but we had a good following. But if all of them don't mesh together, then either your product is not working for you or the venue is not working for you. Either one, you have to manipulate it and change it. And you have to change with whatever it is your damn goal is.
And many times I've seen a scene, it's never been the same batch. You know what I mean? And it's changing. We're in that changeover. We're in that changeover right now where it's a new battle.
It is.
And I believe that will change. I believe that there are still people there that want original music. There are certain things out there, like Blanchard Bash happens every year. There's way out in the country. You have Mayhem that happens every year. Those are doing well.
And then you've got the small ones that turned out to be big ones, Full Terror Assault. You know, shit like that started out small and ended up...
And Unity Not Separation talked about doing a festival. If I can help in any way make that happen, I don't even have to play it. I would love to play it.
Right.
But, dude, I know a lot of bands that would probably offer their services.
Same here.
You know what I mean? And I know if it was for a better cause, a lot of bands wouldn't even care about full pay, you know? Like,
it's just exposure.
For me, I call
building everything has to happen.
When you talk about how helping, I will sacrifice some free shows to help my fucking scene.
Yeah, that's what I was talking to my wife about.
So I'm telling anyone out there, if you're not booking me because you think you're going to have to pay me, yes, I'd like to get paid, and I do get paid a lot of times. But I would do it for a scene. Because that's what it's about.
Me and my wife were talking about this before you got here today, before we started recording. And I had told her that even some of the better bands that are out there should, and I mean this wholeheartedly to any listeners that's a band or anything like that, or members of a band. I'm not trying to be a dick, but sometimes it's best just to go, okay, we're going to make more money as a cover, throwing a cover charge out there, than we are charging this band. That saves them money, guys. It truly does. If you decide to do a $5 cover, there's 4 of you, 3 of you, do the $5 cover. 90% of people won't mind paying the cover. They really won't. You'll make a better act for the bar. Because if you do that, it takes away... Look, the lowest I've ever seen is PK's in Carbondale, and they would give you, I think it was a 3-hour set, $200. But you had to cover 2 hours. You were allowed one break. They didn't care how long, but you were allowed one break. And $200, most of these bands around here that are so starting... I mean, there's bands starting up out of the woodwork left and right now. And, like... You could be a band that's out 6 months, got maybe 30 minutes of material. You got to bring on 3 other bands or 2 other bands, whatever the case may be, to fill that void. They don't care. That's $200 for the show. Charge a cover.
So for me, as a call out, when you say that, even too, me touching that guideline is I can play for 3 hours straight by myself.
Right.
Like, you know, so I work really hard to do what I do, but I want to bring everyone together. You know, like, get me up there in that area. I want to be up there. I want to bring those people down here. But it's hard to do that without the people that run those places and run those events and run those areas. Because it's kind of like wrestling territorial.
Yeah.
They don't want Vince to come in and help and make this. Now look at wrestling now.
Yeah.
It's one of the biggest markets. Wrestlers get paid better than they've ever been paid in their life. That's the true state.
Holding single contracts.
I want to somewhat do that with the musical scene, where we can be in a better place and we all win and we all benefit. Now, we all may have to sacrifice. I may play some shows for free. I'll do it for my scene. I don't expect to get paid every time because I have sacrificed a lot of money to do what I do. I have my own PA. I have my own gear. And I see that with a lot of metal. I have a lot of metal bands out there. They're 5 members and they don't have a PA.
Yeah. We didn't have a PA the whole time we were a band. And we literally, if we didn't have a PA, we hoped like hell somebody in the scene had a PA that was going to play with us.
I also want to stress something that's very important, and it has to do with my journey. You have to be able to hustle too. You have to be able to work your ass off. Like I work Saturdays and Sundays. You know what I mean? I spent a lot of my time working really hard and sacrificed a lot of time out with my friends and lost money to give help to other people. I am willing to sacrifice my time for that. I'm willing to help other people. I'm willing, like even the Jada show. I even told Kyle, I was like, if you stand there and just volume, I'll do it for you, bro. Like, I want to make the show hell better. I was so excited that Rich is in a band playing again, and I'm so excited that he's back because he's one of those people that just loves the music and he will go far in that. He sounds 10 times better than I've ever heard him in my life, and I believe that he is beneficial to his scene because of the person he is. He's so positive. He loves music and he's not. But there are some of those people that are in there that only want one person to succeed. And I don't feel that way. I
don't get along with that.
Like, I can't look at Jeremy and look at Kellerman the same. They're two totally different beasts. And they both deserve attention. But there's the thing about music, there's so many outlets for that. There are so many outlets for all of us to have, in the musical age. But I really feel like my thing is really good shows, really good put together, good promotions, venues that are willing to work with us and let us be more free to do that. The only way we can do that is get away from bars and get to where we can run a venue, or we have venues across that we can rent out. Because I think that money speaks in that. I believe that we can find some, but I don't know enough people. This is why I'm here also too, because even me, when I worked with Phil the Screams, that gave me like fucking 400 views of people that I didn't even know. Yeah. And then all my people went to them and said, who are these people? Webster saw that and he's like, who are all these people? So then Sons of Canaan, it all is important, like me. I don't even, I've never had a conversation with Poe, the lead singer of Grace Divide, for more than 5 minutes maybe. But I respect him in his work, and I respect his and I love their music. Their music's really tight. They're like the new Lamb of God. Like my old Lamb of God. They don't sound anything like Lamb of God, but that's what they are to me. They're like, that's my Randy Bly right there.
So final standing point. This is the end of the fucking show for the night. We're gonna go. We do a little segment that is the funniest shit you have ever seen playing. You had to be booked. What's the funniest thing? And just one story. The funniest thing you ever seen while being booked at a show, and it doesn't matter if you were playing. It doesn't matter if you had to be booked there, is what I'm getting at, meaning you were waiting to go on or anything.
Oh, man. There's quite a few of them.
Which one stands out the funniest?
Well, I have a couple of two. Those are hard. I'll just go with something simple because I don't want to go into a too long drawn out. I don't know. I guess the moment and places where you're playing and people that are not that liker of music or not into that, having that moment. And mine is, I was playing a show and I had booked it, and it was Abaddon and me and a rapper and Carnival and somebody else. I don't remember who it was, either Potter or Joshua Watts, anyway. And Kellerman's at the bar and I'm sitting to the side and there's a rapper playing, and I'm talking like a fucking rapper. And I see Kellerman at the bar fucking freak dancing. And the next moment, they're playing that set. That dude that was rapping's in the front row with this Iron Man hat thing on. He's fucking just going nuts, dude. And it was just I was so dumbfounded, funny, what the fuck is going on? This is not. And then my story with Jeremy told me a story where he was with Kellerman, and they went, and Jeremy ended up waking up in a bathroom somewhere in some motel and didn't know where he was at. And there's a song called Thundercall they haven't released yet, and every time I see it, the look on Jeremy's face looks like getting sick, that moment. Those are the. And then my last one, I know they're short, but seeing most of my family and my best friend Toot's grandmother and his mother standing in front of me, rapping every word to Gas Mask. 7-year-old woman going, motherfucker, tell you about the Seawall? So I'm like, yeah, those are mine. There's other ones, but it mostly involved Toot being fucking crazy, doing crazy shit at shows, calling people, pranking them.
Well, that's all I got for this fucking episode. Actually, this is probably going to be a 3-piece. We've got quite a bit of material here, so I'm going to make sure I can get out as much of it as possible.
Much fun.
Shipley, I appreciate you being here. It's been awesome.
Me either.
Finally get to know you. Finally get to understand what's under the skin or under the makeup, I guess I should say.
Hopefully a bigger feature.
Oh yes, we'll work on that. We may do a follow-up to this one in a few months.
Hopefully this invokes our whole scene.
Right. Yes, we have to do that. Support local music.
Yes.
You have to come out to shows and able for people to get what you love. If you come out, I guarantee you will not be let down.
Fill the venues.
Yes, we have to. This is Baldy. This is Shooting the Shit with Baldy. Shipley, love you.
Yeah, you too, bro.